But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Thursday night, and it's one of the nights we get together and talk about all of the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. If you want to be part of the show tonight at any point, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We are streaming live on DLive, YouTube, and Facebook. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And this show in particular, 3+ years now, very proud of that. This is really a long conversation about many things. Like I described when we started there, it is about aliens, of course. And not just, I think we take a lot of flack, of course, like you would expect, being, one of these fringe type of broadcasters or whatever people want to call us, tinfoil hatters or, woo-woo peddlers or whatever it happens to be, right? We do take our share of flack for that. But I think it's probably just misunderstood because this is not the answer show. This has never been the answer show. This is a question show. And people believe a lot of interesting things. And that's really what we talk about is some of the things that are out there kind of in the zeitgeist floating around. And, aliens happens to be one of them, as you know. Funny enough that if you go back to the early days of the internet, they say that porn and UFOs built the internet, right? So, if there's any truth to that, I think there's probably some interest in UFOs, right? UAPs, aliens, that whole abduction phenomena. So, as part of that and part of this discussion, we kind of just go through that and parse some of these, some of the claims, look at some of the stuff like Betty and Barney Hill, that initial abduction way back in the late 50s, early 60s. Talk about Travis Walton, 1975 in Arizona. And, there's some actual compelling cases. Not only that, so as we go through and kind of discuss these things, we actually have the advantage of having people call in. All right. And so, it's one thing for me to kind of go through some of this information and try and figure it out and talk about it and, hopefully put on an entertaining show. But we have the advantage of having you. And, I've seen some weird things in the sky. I'm not going to claim they're aliens, but I am going to say that I've seen what would be classified as UFOs in some occasions, very few, but I've seen them. And, there are many, many other people out there, you included, if you're out there probably listening to this station, this network, this show. You probably have seen something yourself, and that's probably why you're here. And so that's part of the advantage of this entire thing, why we've always done it in this live format, even way back when nobody was listening, because we have the advantage of talking directly to you. We don't have to get your account through a dishonest media, through some sort of spin game, through any of that. We actually just get to listen and hear your UFO story. So if you have any of those, of course, we love to hear that stuff. If you're kind of just kicking it, listening in tonight, and you have a story that you haven't told, or you have told maybe, and maybe you haven't told it to this audience, please do. Please give us a call, and we'd love to hear some of that stuff, because like I said, where else can you tell a story in your own words to a lot of people listening, and even do it anonymously? It's a huge advantage. So like I said, anyway, I'm going to put the phone number up one more time, and we'll get into the topic here. So like I said, it's 702-957-1037. If you go to troubledminds.org, that's the official website, and there's a Discord link there as well. So if you want to be part of the show, join the Discord, and we will put you on the show that way. Discord is actually just a chat client. It's a voice client, and we use it to do a talk show. Most of the youngsters are using it to play video games. So anyway, with that said, let's get to the topic tonight. Recently, now this is pretty interesting. I thought this has kind of been kind of kicked around quite a bit in the UFO circles through the past. I've heard whispers of it. People mention it on Twitter and the UFO Twitter sphere, and I never really had information kind of suggesting this was the truth. It was more like, whispers, books from days past and things like this. But this is from the Daily Star. We're going to go with the dailystar.co.uk. We're going to start with this one here. And so basically it goes like this. Headline reads this: Chiefs blocked probes into aliens because they believe they are demons. All right. So I'm gonna link my sources, as always. You guys know me. I prefer that you know where I got this information from, even if it's a tabloid or you think the source is garbage. It's more important for me for you guys to know exactly where this information came from, so that you can go to that source and roll your eyes or whatever. I mean, you can aim your hate at me too. That's fine. But okay, so basically, that's what we're talking about tonight. Now, for some weird reason, there have been whispers in the past of the people at the Pentagon, sort of blocking UFO investigations inside the government, because specifically, they say that there's a religious a religious higher ranking brass there, the chiefs, as they call them, or the whatever it is, the people that run the joint are religious in such a manner that they believe the aliens that drive the UFOs are demons. Okay, and so and we've talked about in the past about archons and Gnosticism and some of this stuff, right? And archons themselves are entities, alien entities of a sort, and they actually prey on negative energy from humans, from people. Okay, and so this is apparently what the actual chiefs at the Pentagon supposedly don't want to do. They don't want to give any sort of attention to what they deem to be demonic entities, archons. They don't want to, by investigating the phenomena that may be UFOs, may be little green men, may be interdimensionals, ultra-terrestrials, you name it. There's so many things that we talk about regarding what these things could be, including clearly national security type stuff. Maybe this could be radar spoofs, or Russia and China, or who knows. Like, there's all kinds of really, really out there ideas for this. But as of right now, currently, as far as I'm aware, where nobody knows. Nobody knows what's up with the UFOs. The sightings are increasing, and that's been proven state by state. You can actually go look at there's polls on this. And even more interestingly, once people were locked down for coronavirus for the past I don't know, what, year or so, year plus now, is that UFO sightings increased even more so, just because people were, not really kind of hooked into their main lives in like the busy capacity. They were more like maybe spending some time looking at the sky. So that's what's going on. That's what's up with all this. And again, this is from the dailystar.co.uk. And so it is a tabloid. So again, wink, wink, take it with a grain of salt, etc. But the sources seem to be legitimate. So let's read just a little bit of this, and then we'll keep on rolling here. We do have a phone call. We'll go to that in just a sec. I want to lay the foundation here first. So it says this. Defense chiefs blocked probes into aliens because they believed they are demons, it is claimed. Former Ministry of Defense civil servant Nick Pope and shadowy figures in government have frustrated investigations. He alleged some officials fear studying UFOs would give energy to attention-seeking demons, feeding them somehow. And so that kind of goes back to the archons, right? Or like summoning or conjuring demons of a sort, is that if you... Maybe them showing themselves to us in the sky. Now, I'm rolling with this. I'm going to go with this like this is what they believe, so we're going to talk about it in that capacity like it's real. So let's say these demons in the sky show themselves to us. And part of that is a ritual that they're putting in front of people to somehow maybe elicit a response from us that will give them the attention they seek, whether it's the energy of people or whether it's whatever it is, right? What have you, to initiate our part of the ritual, to maybe bring them into our reality. Like, who knows? These are the types of things that these folks are afraid of. And interestingly, that we're talking about, the highest levels of the Pentagon, is these folks are, of the religious type, and they think that maybe, just maybe, these UFOs might be demons. So just a little bit more of this. So Nick Pope says the theory has roots in the biblical description of Satan as the prince of the power of the air. He added, quote, "It was extremely frustrating having to deal with what I felt was the intrusion of religion into a defense and national security issue. Both in the UK and the US, government investigations into UFOs have been hampered by pushback from senior officials." And that's right here. So we'll read a little bit more of this as we go. This is, again, from the dailystar.co.uk. And the headline one more time. Chiefs block probes into aliens because they believe they are demons. So, I mean, like I said, whether you're religious or not, I think that many people, even if you believe whatever you believe, I think we kind of concur that UFOs seem to be mysterious at this point. UAP is unidentified aerial phenomena, whatever you want to call them. And so as part of that, we're trying to figure it out, right? We're trying to figure it out just like them, supposedly, except we don't have all the radar data and all the good stuff, the photographs and video and, gun camera footage. We don't have all that stuff they have. But we're still, keeping our ear to the ground, doing our best, listening to these sources and trying to figure things out. So that's what's up. We're talking about how supposedly the Pentagon believes that aliens are demons, and that's why they're trying to stop a lot of this information from coming out, because they believe it's some sort of ritual or archons or something like this, right? And they're trying to stop, from that ritual from happening, from those demons from entering our jurisdiction, as it were, which would be, of course, the mortal world. So that's what's on deck tonight. That's what we're talking about. Again, we are taking your phone calls. We've got one on right now. So let's go. This is Derek. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for calling. What do you think about this demons or aliens bit?
Good. Can I tell you my story real fast? It'll be very fast.
Sure. What story you got?
You were talking about people during the coronavirus. They had a little bit more time to kind of, investigate the skies. I know everybody was telling everybody else to stay inside or whatever, but some of us actually went outside And I know last March when I was outside of my cousin's house, I looked up in the sky, and it was really strange because I kept seeing these satellites, at least I thought they were satellites at the time. They were coming out of a certain part of the sky, and it wasn't like you could see where they were coming from. It was almost like they were materializing from this one part of the sky, and there was a whole flotilla of these satellites. And I was just thinking, like, they reminded me of Star Wars, where these guys come out of hyperspace and they just kind of appear in a certain part of the sky. It's like you don't see them, and all of a sudden they're there. And I saw it must have been a whole bunch of them. It must have been like they just kept coming from the same part of the sky. And I went inside and I grabbed my cousin. I was just like, "Do you see this? Do you see this? Look at all these things." And it's like they were basically like all in a line coming out of the same part of the sky. And it was just so strange. And I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Oh, those are just satellites." And he went right back in the house. And I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess they're just satellites." But at the time I was thinking, like, this is really strange because you can't see where they're coming from. They're just coming out of the sky, basically. And there are a whole line of them.
Yeah, so
I was just thinking, like, well, what's going on? It just made me think, like...
Interesting about that. Let me interject here. So basically, I think what you're seeing there, and I'd have to see it, a picture or something else. But do me a favor, and when you're off the phone here, Google Starlink satellites if you have not already. And they just hit here. We're in Vegas, is where we broadcast from. Yeah. And so just recently, there was a sighting of Starlink satellites out here. It was a day ago. Mrs. Strange was just telling me about it just a couple hours back, and apparently, it actually elicited a whole bunch of UFO reports. And it was exactly as you described. If you look up Starlink satellites and look for an image, do an image search, you'll see it's kind of literally like a direct line, like from one end to the other. There's maybe 10, 12, 15, 20 of them, and they kind of just cruise through the sky like in a straight line, right? So I'm guessing that's what you saw. I've never seen them myself with my own eyes. Is that basically what you saw, or something a little bit different than that?
I hope that's what I saw. I mean, because otherwise it was just kind of strange, because normally, like a plane, you can kind of see it coming, but these you couldn't see. You could look up and you could see the sky was like totally blank. And then all of a sudden, one would just appear out of nowhere. And it was just kind of like, well, where are they coming from? Is there like a wormhole or something up there?
Yeah.
I was like thinking of something like that. And then my cousin's like, no, those are satellites. So, I mean, it probably is just satellites. But at the same time, I was just kind of like, you never know. I mean, maybe they are just kind of popping out of wherever. And all of a sudden, they're in our atmosphere and stuff. And you're just like, dang, look at them. Because there was a bunch of them, too. I thought it was like a flotilla, like a bunch of ships or something, because they were pretty bright, too. And they were all going in a formation. I was like, wow, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I didn't see exactly what you saw. So I'm not claiming it's exactly that, but I'm saying it sounds similar to the Starlink stuff. So have a look at that. Just Google it and see if you haven't yet. And it might be similar. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, what about these demons they're talking about now? It just seems like kind of like some kind of a story that they're creating so that they don't have to release and have a disclosure. Because I think, wasn't it set to have a major disclosure like this year with a bunch of information? I mean, maybe they're just trying to block that for some reason. I don't know. Yeah,
it sure seems like a weak excuse, doesn't it? I mean, well, unless okay, so think about it this way: what if those claims that I was making, kind of the maybe extrapolations of that term, that aliens may be demons and these UFOs are part of some ritual. If that's the case, and that's possibly real, I mean, like you got to think about it this way: we're in the realm of talking about little green men at this point, and so like you kind of got to put everything on the table, don't you? And maybe consider this stuff to be possibly true. So if that's really the case, and we're talking about like a kind of a nefarious entity that doesn't have a good disposition toward us, I think that maybe we should take all precautions. I'm not saying it's that. I'm not saying it's the other thing. I'm just saying if we're talking about little green men, I think archons are probably as plausible, or what I mean, at least worthy of the conversation. That's kind of what I'm saying here. So what do you think then? Do you think that aliens are demons, or do you think there's
what I'm looking at is ultimately? I mean, ultimately, look at the article itself. It's like, why would they create an article like that unless they wanted to provide some kind of a reason for why they would withhold some kind of information that they could disclose to the public at this point, but they're just deciding, well, we don't even need to do this. You know, they don't need to know this. Why should we tell them? You know, it's just kind of, I don't know. I'm very skeptical about that, because before they were releasing stuff, you know, all those flight videos where the guys are going crazy and they're locking onto all these different, you know, unidentified objects, and it's like all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like there's kind of like, oh wait, let's stop this. Let's cut off this flow of information before it gets too much or something.
Yeah,
you know,
or at least, take control.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. And I agree that we should be skeptical of a lot of this, only because, you know, the source is the government, and they've been lying about these stuff for a very long time. And there's proof of that. There's literal proof that they've been lying about UFOs for a long time. So, you know, any information coming from them at this point, to me, you know, you got to kind of squint your eyes at it a little bit, because if they were going to tell us the truth, they probably would have done it a long time ago. So that's how I see it. We got to go, man. I appreciate you calling. Where are you calling from?
It's definitely good. Yeah, it's definitely a good topic for the night. I'm sure. I hope you get a bunch of good callers that might actually believe in that crap too, so that they're demons or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to listen. So
okay, cool.
Thank you for taking my call, man.
I'd love to hear it. I appreciate the call, my friend. That's Derek. I'm not sure where he's calling from. We'll get that next time. I appreciate you calling tonight, man. Getting us started. But yeah, all right. So I mean, this is what we're talking about. Is you know, and kind of in the vein of maybe these things aren't even. Let's say there's some sort of natural phenomenon that we have yet to discover, right? And maybe that's what these UFOs are. You know, and again, I'm not making a blanket statement of all of them. And there's never, like, in terms of like all of everything kind of falls under one description. I'm just saying that it's possible that these things may be something else entirely that we hadn't even considered yet, that have nothing to do with little green men or demons. Okay, so I don't know, but that's really the conversation tonight. Taking this article here, thank you for the call, Derek. We've got from the Daily Star: Chiefs blocked probes into aliens because they believe they are demons. And so, what do you believe? I think it comes down to what you really believe, doesn't it? And in many cases, your religious views on, you know, demons or archons or what have you, right? And I was looking at going through some data before we started tonight to kind of maybe frame this in a different way. And I saw there are some actual projections that suggest in states, in the United States, of course, that are more religious, like have a more religious base of people living there, they see less UFOs. And then in other states that have less of a religious presence, they see more UFOs. So I wonder if it's just a classification thing, that where, you know, religious types may or may not believe that they're, you know, maybe a guardian angel in the sky, or, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mean to demean it like that and say everybody, but I'm just saying that maybe there's a correlation there. I don't know. Like I said, this is not the answer show. This is the question show, and that's why I'm here asking you. That's why I'm asking for phone calls tonight and to keep this conversation going. So, as you are aware, like I said, this is the question show. This is not the answer show. This is Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we're talking about aliens and how apparently the chiefs at the Pentagon have decided in some capacity to block investigations into UFOs because they think they may be demons. All right? Now, like I said, I've heard this whispered kind of through ufology in the past, and I wasn't sure if this had any merit, but now we've got a few articles here discussing this, and they have a source and people actually talking about this that work inside the government. So that's what's up. That's what we're doing tonight. Looking to hear from you. If you want to be part of the conversation, what do you believe? Do you believe UFOs are aliens in any capacity? Do you believe they're some kind of natural phenomena we haven't quite classified? Or do you really think they're demons or some other thing? Love to hear from you in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter what you believe. The more people we get calling, the more takes we get, the more we learn together. So one more time, I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More discussion about aliens, demons, and the Pentagon after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, DLive, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we are discussing an article that came out just today that chiefs at the Pentagon want to block investigations into aliens and UFOs because they believe they might be demons, and to give those demons attention might allow some ritual to happen that will bring the demons into our realm. I don't know what to think about this. Of course, this is not the answer show. This is the question show. So I pose the question to you. Do you believe that UFOs and this phenomenon that we've been kind of chasing after for over 70 years, back since Roswell in 1947, and that the mythological UFO crash that happened in New Mexico, do you think it's possible that the occupants of that crash landing are possibly demons? And of course, do you think, whatever it is you think, like I said, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, it only matters to me that you do think, that you consider these possibilities and kind of parse the information that we get and come up with your own thought, your own idea here. Because, like I said, this is, we're talking about the woo woo. We're talking about New Age stuff. We're talking about UFOs, for crying out loud. There's no experts here. You're as much an expert as anybody else. And so as a result of that, we're taking your phone calls and love to hear your take on this. Are aliens demons? Do you think there's some capacity there? And if not, why? Or if so, why? Looking to hear from you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. The phone number is up on the stream there, and you can find the phone number and the Discord at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Phone number and the Discord are right on top. You can't miss them, and just get in here and join us as part of this conversation. Now, that's exactly what's going on. Now, what is the source here? So let's go back to the source that I pulled up first, and this is the dailystar.co.uk. I know, like I said, facepalm, tabloid, all the rest of that stuff. That's fine. Because here, the source is less facepalm, okay? So this article continues, right? So both in the UK and in the US, government investigations into UFOs have been hampered by pushback from senior officials, they say. And the reason for that, of course, quote, roadblocks were put up by people in government who accepted the phenomenon but believed it was demonic. Now, the belief seems to be that studying UFOs would give energy to attention-seeking demons, feeding them somehow, in a situation where the safest course of action is to ignore them. So interesting, right? Kind of like I said, maybe back to the archons, maybe these entities that kind of drain, human, the soul, or human positivity, or kind of like energy vampires. I don't know. I don't know what the actual explanation here is, other than that short one. But again. Studying UFOs would give energy to attention-seeking demons, feeding them somehow in a situation where the safest course of action is to ignore them. And I'm not so sure about ignoring these things, because what the heck? What the heck? So anyway, it continues. Nick Pope, of course, said he thinks some officials believe interacting with alien life is a trap, dangerous and sacrilegious. And he claimed there are well-documented examples of religious pushback against the U.S. intelligence agency probing UFOs, adding, quote, I believe this was a factor in the Ministry of Defense, too, talking about, of course, the United Kingdom UFO investigation over there. So it comes following the news that the U.S. government is gearing up to share information about the reality of UFOs, according to one report. Lou Elizondo, we've talked about him quite a bit, who worked with ATIP, of course, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program in the Pentagon. So the news is that the U.S. government is going to share this because he said that, or no, not him, remember the 6-month report. There's a 6-month UFO report that's due at the end of June. And so they're supposed to tell us what's happening with, in an unclassified manner, what's happening with UFOs, okay? And not only that, the Inspector General recently, if you guys hadn't seen this, I didn't pull up this article, but it's out there. It's part of the wider UFO news that's kind of clunking out on a daily basis. It's been nuts for UFO news recently. But the Inspector General, I think it's the Deputy Inspector General, but in any case, they're actually now investigating why the government is so reluctant to investigate UFOs, UAPs. So again, right here we are talking about this, thinking about this stuff. And, oddly enough, for all the things in the news cycles, don't you think this is important to maybe get to the bottom of this? I don't want to call them a threat, UFOs or whatever they happen to be. But, it would be nice to know, wouldn't it? You know what I'm saying? I just think it would be nice to know. But okay, so this article continues. Good stuff in here, and again, right? Actual good reporting from the Daily Star, if you can believe that. And it seems silly because it's talking about UFOs, but crying out loud, this show talks about UFOs all the time. And not only that, they're real. They're real. What are they? I don't know, but I do know they're very real. Lots of reports, lots of actual footage, lots of people sharing photographs, the gun camera footage from the government. Maybe that stuff, maybe the government side of the information they're sending to us is propaganda. But, there's too many actual citizens like you and me out there that have seen some things that really qualify as UFOs. So anyway, here we go. As this continues, so let's see. The groundbreaking program ATIP, which reportedly had a budget of £16.5 million, because this is, of course, from the UK, allocated to it annually by the Department of Defense, is said to have been run from the 5th floor of Pentagon's C Ring in Washington, D.C., and was tasked with investigating UFO sightings in the U.S. and the rest of the world. He now claims that a bombshell new document slated for release in June touches down on the unexplainable. And that's that 6-month report we were talking about. Quote, I think the government has acknowledged the reality of unidentified aerial phenomena, Lou Elizondo told the New York Post, despite signing what he refers to as a lifelong NDA, which would be a non-disclosure agreement, before he resigned from the Pentagon in 2017. He added, I think they all want answers, and I think they are willing to ask the hard questions. Now, okay, that's fine. Oh, well, but, unless we really have what we're talking about here, some senior officials on the Pentagon that are kind of hiding behind the fact that they think these aliens or what have you might be demons in some capacity. And I think that's part of part of the interesting thing here is that, like I said when we started this tonight, I've heard whispers of this. I've heard people claim this. I don't know if it's from Philip Corso, the day after Roswell, his book he wrote. I don't know if there's, it's where these sources came from, but it seems to be kind of prevalent in the UFO community that this has been an accepted thing, that they understood and they know why, that this has been going on for quite some time, that they're actually keeping, the UFO investigation at bay because there's a religious group of chiefs or bosses in the Pentagon that actually believe these are demons. So, and here we go. We've got actual verification of this by Nick Pope and also by Lou Elizondo saying the same stuff. So, anyway, like I said, tonight we're talking about exactly that. UFOs, right? They're now called, which of course used to be unidentified flying object. It is now known as UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Okay, and the thing is this. The weird part is what kind of brings us to the show tonight is this article from the Daily Star, and I've got another one we'll get to in a sec, but it describes that the Pentagon chiefs are a religious type. And again, I'm not anti-religious or religious. Don't take me. It's good. I think we need both types of people. I think it's good. I think all that stuff is good. Different people having discussions about things with different worldviews is good, in my opinion. So don't take it that way. But this seems to be, I don't know, maybe another part of the war on religion, possibly, which I know we know is happening. If you pay any sort of attention to the media, they're kind of crapping on religious types all over the world. But I don't know. I think kind of looking at this and wondering who's behind this, which individuals. Of course, they don't name anybody because you'd have to rat them out, and then there's another problem there. This is the dailystar.co.uk, so this is from the United Kingdom. But okay, so, and like I said, it is a tabloid, but they have actual sources here, which are legitimate sources. So we're going to go with it this time. But anyway, you get the point. So I pose the question to you. So do you think, first, what do you think UFOs are? Have you seen a UFO? What do you think they are? And do you think it's possible that instead of, maybe little green men or, maybe bionic, cyborgs or something sent from another galaxy, maybe they're demons? Do you think this is possible? And do you think kind of in the Archon vein or maybe some ritualistic situation, if we investigate or give these UFOs any attention, we're giving them what they want and drawing them further into our reality. So, I think these things are worth asking the question and thinking about anyway. So, pretty good stuff in my opinion, but love to hear from you. What do you think about this? And the phone number's up, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord at troubledminds.org, the official website. Phone number and the Discord are right on top. You can't miss them. And get in here. Let's hear it. Let's hear from you guys. All right, so let's move on to the next article. There's more here. So it gets more interesting. So not only is this this claim here. Hold on. Let's see. Where do we have this? All right. So this is from soulask.com, and this is exactly what we're talking about here. And this is kind of the same thing, but more in depth. And I'm sharing the sources as always, so you guys can follow up on me and see where I'm getting the information from. And here we go, linking it up, and then I'll read you this part of this article in just a sec here. All right, so the thing is this, right? The article starts this way, and it's very in depth, very long, which is fantastic. I love when people think in terms of a larger point. And this is written by the article below, written by Anthony Bragalia, right? He's the guy that kind of came out with some stuff we talked about in the past, and he's taken a bunch of heat for some of the FOIA stuff and how he actually interprets it. But anyway, so the title here is Shadow Group in the U.S. Government Believe ETs Are Demons. All right. And so there's more. So it's not just the one source now, which just hit today. And this is, again, describing what Lou Elizondo said, that the people in the Pentagon chiefs are having a crisis of faith, let's say. And they are trying to determine if ETs are actually demons in some capacity. So anyway, this right here is, again, very long form, and it kind of gets into where a lot of this stuff started, right? So a surprising new analysis and an overview of the available reports reveal that within the U.S. defense and intelligence agencies lies a shadow group that is influential, fanatically religious, and that actively undermines UFO studies by the government and its associated program managers, believing that UFOs are demonic. An ongoing investigation into this bizarre and unscientific situation seeks to call fundamentalists who want to dismantle such programs by name. In doing so, they destroy the professional reputation and advancement of science. Incredibly, these extreme evangelicals believe that these aliens are demons and that those who study them are playing with fire. They are working from within to put pressure on these military and intelligence programs and on the professionals involved in examining the phenomena. Okay, so again, a very, very long article here, and it kind of gets into specifics on where this information came from. It gets into James Lakatsky, which is a notable name in ufology. He's now retired, but apparently he was run out of the Pentagon by these same people that are trying to say that they're ETs or demons. And so I don't know, like we can kind of go through into this article a little bit more in depth, but like I said, I'd rather hear from you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think it's kind of a weak excuse to not really delve into the UFO situation? Do you think that again, this could be possible? That there's maybe a demonic link of aliens, or let's not even say aliens. Let's say whatever the entities are, to maybe some sort of a demonic presence or situation. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea. That's not my purview. Is not to pull answers out of this. I'm more curious, and maybe us getting together and talking about what this means. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot here, right? It's kind of a mouthful, and as we talk about some of these things like spirituality and UFOs, these communities collide like quite a bit. And so to me, it's not that big of a stretch to really consider if there are little green men, then there are also maybe demons, right? Something like that. It's not that far out of the realm of my imagination. So I'm willing to believe this, at least that people are concerned that these things might be playing with fire, right, by investigating the UFOs here. So anyway, like I said, if you want to be a part of the show, phone number is up, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, and love to hear what you think about this. Are little green men actually demons? Yeah, well, yeah. Pretty crazy stuff, right? So, okay, there's more here. Let's see. There's more. There's a whole bunch of articles actually regarding this. Here's another one. This is from soulask.com. And they're we'll get into some more of this as we go tonight. But, there's some pretty good articles kind of delving into this question, this exact question. So this is from, again, soulask.com. And the headline is this: the claim that aliens are demons is wrong. That's why. Okay, and so it actually goes down and does a whole kind of deep dive again into where the origin of mankind and some other things in this. So like I said, there's some pretty dense articles that have been written about this, and some of course are written from a religious point of view, and some are kind of written on in the opposite and trying to say that it can't be the same thing, or it can be the same thing, or what have you, right? So I don't know. Given all this, I really have no idea, and just linking some of the sources on what I found digging up tonight. But like I said, if the Pentagon is afraid of conjuring demons by investigating UFOs, I think we have problems, don't we? I mean, I think maybe we should bring a demon out first. I hate to say that, but like if that's the case, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Minka says it seems like they're making it taboo. Taboo again, right? Like it used to be. You couldn't even talk about UFOs without being considered a quack, right? Like tinfoil hat or a nut. So, I mean, maybe that's what's going on here. Is they're trying to find a way to maybe reinstate that level of taboo that discussing these things is not acceptable. So I don't know. Again, interesting stuff. So let's see. What else do we got? Let's look at the chat here. Just kind of seeing if I missed anything that needs to go in the show. But okay, so if phone number's up, if you guys want to be part of the show, there you go. Just kind of checking out the chat, and that's what we're discussing tonight. The fact that aliens have been said to possibly be demons, and apparently high-level folks at the Pentagon of the religious type have supposedly blocked investigations into UFOs because they thought they were demons. And, as a result of that, if they give these demons attention, they're going to draw them further into our reality. They're going to give them what they want, right? Through some sort of ritualistic investigation type, give them whatever, give them what they want. But I don't know. Like I said, this is not me making these answers or making these things up. This is real. Apparently, this is extremely real. Let's see. Robert says this on Facebook. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate the comment. UFOs are time machines. The occupants are descendants from hundreds of years in the future. This is how history is taught in the future, by traveling back in time to observe the history as it unfolded. The tall occupants are the teachers. The small are their students. And how about that? I think that's as good a take as any. And we're talking about demons and little green men. Why the hell not? Paul says this: if Satan is truly deceiving us and the biblical teachings are playing out before our eyes, Satan is slick. Because I've been down so many rabbit holes, I've got no idea what to believe as far as aliens and demons, God and Satan. I just try to be open, be a good person, and keep an open mind. Amen to that. Amen to that. Again, like I said, there are more questions than answers. Kind of the more you look into this stuff, and I think I completely understand why. If you have a particular worldview, like from a religious aspect, why you would want to keep people within a religious view. For instance, so you don't accidentally summon demons, right? And I think that's really part of this. We talked about on this show, kind of playing with Ouija boards or things like this, or archons and draining whatever from people. Who knows? Like these are things that might be possible, and you can do these things on accident, and kind of invite demons into your home or house or life or whatever, right? So I don't know. Like I said, looking to hear from you guys. We got a phone call coming in that we're going to take in just a sec here, and keep on rolling. Phone number's up. Let's see. Go do troubledminds.org. Troubledminds.org. There you go. I'm going to stick it in. There you go. Troubledminds.org. There you go. Phone number is right there on the top of the website. Click that, and then click the, I don't think you can click the phone number, but it's right there. Here, I'll type it in too. 702-957-1037. There you go. There you go. It's in the chat. Okay, let's go. This is Derek again. What's up, Derek? Thanks for calling. How are you, my friend? What is going on with this aliens and demons?
Hey, Derek.
What's up, my man?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Hey, you know what? You brought up the whole aspect. I called earlier. You brought up the whole aspect of how they're trying to make this a religious thing, too, where it's like these people that are very ultra-religious are trying to keep people from the truth. Do you think they're trying to stir up something with that?
I think it could be. I think that's...
I mean, I didn't even think of that when I first heard that, but I think that's the second level of the propaganda of that article itself is like people kind of being like, "Oh, you bastards! Why aren't you keeping us from the truth? Why are you keeping us from the truth? You know, who are these religious nuts or whatever?" But I didn't even think about that. It could be to drum up like kind of an anti-religious kind of thing too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's what we have to really consider when we look at this type of stuff as, you know, where the propaganda is coming from. And unfortunately, in this case, it's from, you know, the sources from Lou Elizondo, the ATIP guy. And, you know, he's actually... He has won me over. I was a very big critic of him in the beginning because he was working with Tom DeLonge, and it seemed like it was just very sloppy. And they were showing photos of UFOs that were clearly fake, that were obviously fake, have been debunked a long time ago as being obviously fake. And they were kind of showing this as part of their disclosure narrative. And I'm like, what? Why? Like, this is now you're making yourself look like a bunch of fools. Sorry, go ahead.
I saw those videos on YouTube myself where I was like, oh, why is he aligning himself with Tom DeLonge or whatever? I was just like, man, this dude's like, you know, he's in a band. It's like this isn't adding any kind of legitimacy to this whole effort to try to disclose the truth.
Exactly.
You know, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so, but recently, so he did leave Tom DeLonge's band, as it were, the crew of To the Stars Academy, right? And so since he did that, he's done a ton of interviews, just kind of on his own solo style, and he's been very, very forthcoming. You know, there's some things he can't say clearly because of his non-disclosure agreement with the government, but he seems to genuinely believe that these things out there might be UFOs. It might actually be, you know, he's really stopped short of saying like little green men, but he certainly seems to believe that the things he's saying and the things he's seen are worth looking into, and the conversation needs to be bigger. We got to go because we got a break.
Well, I equate this pushback too with this article probably to his efforts, because this is coming out right now after he started talking basically publicly again. So it's just, people have to look at it like that too. So
yeah, I agree.
That's all I have to say.
I agree. I appreciate the call, my man.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. There you go. If you guys want to be part of the show, as simple as that. We're talking about UFOs, little green men. Could they be demons? Apparently, there's a faction inside the Pentagon that believes it's possible, and that if we investigate these things further, we'll be opening up some sort of portal and allowing more demons into our... into our world. You tell me, what do you think? I don't know about this. Again, not the answer show. This is a question show. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. More conversation just like this after the break. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Thursday night, one of the nights we get together to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. What are those things? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the bizarre feeling we live in the upside down. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we are taking your phone calls tonight. The topic: the Pentagon has decided by a group of insiders there that the investigation into UFOs should come to a halt because they believe UFOs may be demons. The actual, whether it's the phenomenon, the UFOs themselves, or whether it's the, as it were, little green men flying inside these things, or whatever's going on with this. And I'm not kidding. I got receipts. I got proof of this. I've got links discussing this. I'm not making this stuff up, as you know. I may talk about some weird stuff sometimes, but I do have receipts. I've got at least articles discussing where the sources came from and the people that believe these things. So it is a good start. I'll share those articles as we go tonight and talking about this stuff. But we are taking your phone calls. Do you believe that the phenomenon known as UFOs or UAPs, that would be unidentified flying objects, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, which they're now called, do you believe possibly they could be some sort of demons or devils or archons, as it were, right? From the Gnosticism. What do you believe? I think that's the question here tonight, is what we're doing. Again, like I said, we're taking your phone calls. So let's go to, we actually do have a couple of phone calls coming in, but that's the question. That's the question tonight. What do you believe? And do you think this is possible, that the actual phenomenon that is UFOs could be demons in some capacity? So let's go to, I believe this is Paul in New Hampshire. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hi, Mike. Great subject tonight. Wow, I can really roll with this. I mean, I'm just saying, I got to tell you, before I kind of go on my rant, as you know, I can't kind of do that once in a while.
Just no cursing.
Let's just say that,
no cursing, please.
One of the movies that really freaked me out was The Exorcist. And I'm sure, I don't know how old you are, but when I was a little kid, and I mean, I'm 53 now, and when The Exorcist came out, it was on TV, and I asked my mom, I really want to watch this, and I had read the book, because that's just the kind of kid I was. When I went to see Jaws, I had already read the book, and she was like, I don't want you to watch that movie. And I said, but I really want to watch it, Mom. And she still let me watch it. And that movie to this day still freaks me out. And with that being said, how can they put this subject into ufology? I just don't know where that goes. How can the Pentagon use this reason? And I think this comes, to fruition about what I've been saying all along on your show, on my webpage, on my YouTube channel, is that it's all bullshit, that they're going to do anything.
Cursing on the radio. Last time. You're cutting you off if you do it again. Oh. Come on, man. Come on. Crap and ass is okay. That's all we get. Anything else is not good. Go ahead. Sorry. BS is okay too. You can say that. I'm
sorry. I realized. I'm sorry about the S word. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I apologize. So it's late. Like I said, getting ready to go to bed. And just saying that now here we have all of this bunk going on with the government and a nonstop barrage of disinformation nonstop, and we can get into political and all of that. But again, I watched The Exorcist. I've watched here you go. I watched the Travel Channel tonight, saw some of the ghost videos they had, claiming to be dead people walking in rooms and dogs walking down the street taken from, house cameras and UFO videos taken. And if demons were UFOs, why aren't we all, why aren't we all possessed now? What's the point here? They're trying to turn your mind the other way here. They're just trying to turn this whole subject into something that they can use here to give them an excuse to say we don't have to tell you the truth. And I've said this all along. We talk about UFO Jesus, right? Or whoever his name is. Disclosure Jesus, right? Here we go. It's disclosure's coming. Disclosure's coming. It's almost like, there's this line of people that are standing in line going, demons are real. I had a Ouija board and, I used it for 9 years. And then one day somebody knocked on the door and I didn't hear them or I didn't see them. It's, ding dong ditch. This is where I come from here. Ding dong ditch. Knock on the door, give you something to listen to, and then switch the subject. Because let's put it into reality. There's evidence there. There's evidence. And as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen any evidence of demons. And The Exorcist freaked me out. And I've seen UFOs. And I have the footage to prove it. So where are we going here?
So you're trying to tell me...
Down to the real...
Yeah. You think it's
Go
BS.
ahead,
You think it's propaganda and BS. Like you think there's no connection here. So let me ask you this: when you saw the UFO, did you levitate from your bed and your head spin around and you spit green pea soup? Did that happen? I'm just curious. Asking for a friend.
No, but I did go to. There was a little store down the street, and afterwards I went down and I saw Reagan on a bed with her bobblehead. It was like a bobblehead Reagan, and I thought that would be really cool to put on my shelf. And, then I got the little alien next to him. And no, that didn't happen. And I don't think it happened to anybody, by the way. So it's just, again, it's propaganda. You said it. It's a reason to get them to not tell us the truth. They're going to push it into a place where we're never going to know the truth. They're just going to keep using this for their advantage to keep people not like us, other people, and, confused. It's confusion. And what do they call it? Who's on first? It's the old
misdirection.
trick. Who's on first?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you're right with a lot of this, and I just don't know, right? Like, is there a faction inside the Pentagon that maybe truly believes this stuff, or again, like you said, is it some sort of cover story to kind of maybe swat this down and blame it on some other folks? I don't know. Like I said, you know me, I don't have the answers here. I don't have any insiders. My insiders are you. Everybody who calls into the show, we're together. We're all insiders because we're outsiders. Funny how that works, right? But I mean.
Well, here's some, not to cut you off, but here's some information for you. If there were insiders in the Pentagon about this, why were there, Project Blue Book, Project Grudge, Project Sign? We can go on and on about what the government's done with UFOs. Why weren't there Project Reagan, Project Witchboard, Project, what do you call that thing, when you put the little thing on the board?
Planchette.
Why wasn't there Project
Planchette?
Yeah, Project hearing, hearing voices in your head. I mean, and of course, maybe there were some psychic things going on, but when has the Pentagon ever studied ghosts and demons? I'm pretty sure in the last 40 years, there is not one part of the Pentagon, the government, anybody out there that all of a sudden is studying ghosts and demonology and these things. And it's all over Facebook, by the way, and YouTube, and this is just a nonstop barrage of even, and I'm not saying that the people that are doing these shows are part of that disinformation campaign. And when you look at Travel Channel and the stuff they put up, and watch something like paranormal caught on camera, and look at some of these videos, that it's pretty simple to tell what's fake and not real. I've said this over and over again. You don't see real UFO footage too often, and there's plenty of fake stuff. And I've never seen any real footage of demons, so to speak, other than maybe a couple of clips of people that were, quote, possessed. But even then, they weren't spitting pea soup, and their heads weren't spinning around on their neck.
Oddly enough, Paul, that was actually based on a true story, The Exorcist, by the way, and so where. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. Well, yeah, right. I know this. Like I said, I watched that movie when I was a kid. Read the book, know all about it, studied it.
All right. I'm just saying
the living crap out of me.
Thank you. Thank you for making that radio friendly. No, I think you're right again. Right. That there's a lot of information here, and where does one thing end and where does the next thing begin? That's where the conversation is, right? I think, and that's why we do this. You're the best, my friend. We got calls behind you.
Disinformation campaign rolling hard. Disinformation campaign. Let's take your mind away from the reality and let's bring in the fake stuff. And here we go. It's just happening all over again. It just seems like a nonstop barrage of bait and switch.
It does seem that way. We got calls behind you, so we got to roll, man. So everybody, this is Paul from New Hampshire. Follow him on YouTube, New Hampshire UFO Hunter. Paul, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it, my man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hey, Mike. Thank you, too.
Thanks a lot. There you go. Simple as that. You guys want to be part of the show? Phone number is up, 702-957-1037. Calls are lighting up finally. I appreciate you guys calling. Let's go to Matt in Oregon. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. Go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight? Do you believe aliens are demons?
How's it going, Mike?
Good, man.
Yeah, I kind of, like you said, maybe it's like they're one and the same. But I've actually heard this before. It's from a guy named Aleister Crowley. He was like into like high magic, like crazy magic, and he was able to like he was communicating with like interdimensional beings and things like that, and like getting power, like learning from them. And he straight like in his books, like he straight called them demons. He didn't call them like entities or anything. And he was able to like bind them and like hold them there and then like talk to them and learn stuff from them. And a lot of his work comes from another guy named the King Solomon. He also was doing like magic, and he was also talking to things that higher powers, and he also kind of said like things about how they were kind of demons.
Yeah, so King Solomon is a biblical thing, and he supposedly was able to harness the power of demons, right? And I think they're the ones who built the first temple based on King Solomon. Am I right with that? I think that's the same guy. Am I off? I could be off with that.
Yeah. King Solomon is a biblical thing, but yeah, this, like I said, there's stories, myths, but same kind of thing. Like he said he can talk to interdimensional beings, whatever you want to call them, aliens, gods, whatever you want to call them, demons. And then one of the things like with Aleister Crowley is kind of last night how you put like two like a side-by-side picture. Like if you take a picture of like a little green man, right, like on the cover of Troubled Minds, the little green man alien, and then you take a picture of like a demon like Baphomet is one of them. I guess they have like a goat face with horns, a demon. And you look at like zoom in on like their face and see like their face, they have the same kind of structure of like their head shape is like kind of a triangle. And their eyes, if you look like a demon's eyes, and then you look at a little green man alien eyes, they're like diamond shaped, big, and so I kind of saying like they look the same. So I see how people can say it's an alien, one person can say it's a demon. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there are similarities, is what you're saying here, but and I get that. Like I understand they're both some of those things that are kind of in the periphery of believability, right? Like some people just they're like demons, no way, they don't exist. Some people like aliens, no way, they don't exist. And then there's the opposite of that as well. And some people believe that aliens are the demons. So I get it. Like I understand we're talking about like woo-woo stuff, the phenomenon, and so just so many things that could be, like we always say, the maybe juice. So I get it. Like I understand how there might be like an actual connection there. And I mean, like think of it this way too. So let's say Crowley was trying to open up a portal and bring in whatever's for, kind of like in Stranger Things, the Montauk Project and things like this. If that was happening and they were trying to bring in these entities in like an interdimensional type of space, it stands to reason that these demons are aliens or like whatever. Like I said, until you can basically, I made this point a while back. Until you can get in a zoo and lock up a demon next to an alien and compare, I think that you know what I'm saying. I think we're kind of stuck in this speculation phase, and so I'm okay. I'm okay, exactly. Open to the fact that one might be the other, and so yeah, I mean, I think it's worthy of a good conversation. So what do you think? Do you think so? You think there's similarities? Do you think they are the same thing, or do you think it's just kind of a stretch and some propaganda here?
Well, like I said, of course, it is speculation. We don't know. But yeah, I kind of see, like throughout history, even like in those ancient alien shows and stuff, they're always like, oh, it's aliens. But yeah, it could be just beings, and they look the same. And some people call it alien, some people call it demon, or entity. But there's a difference between like how I said, like little green men on a planet. Say they're like, how many billion light years away, they can't get to us. But if we talk about like an interdimensional creature, it's a whole different story because it's kind of like how you said, like upside down. It's like it's right next to us. Like there's like frequencies and vibrations. It's like a world right next to us. Alternate dimensions they call them. And maybe like that's kind of what we might be seeing is like we can like cross over from our dimension to an alternate dimension, and like maybe that's how we like somehow we like connect, and that's what we're seeing, another dimension.
Yeah,
creature from another dimension.
And there's science behind that. I mean, there's string theory that suggests that this is exactly what's happening.
String theory,
exactly. Yeah, so that there's multiple universes, and they're literally right on top of us, and so kind of passing from one to the next it could be a very simple thing, assuming you know how to open that portal, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I don't know, but I think that it's reasonable to suggest one might be the other, or we've maybe misclassified them throughout history. Like that's what the ancient astronaut theory is, that a lot of these biblical things that were supposedly, the guy Ezekiel and the wheel and this type of thing, is that they were actually abducted by aliens and had some witnesses, and so it kind of came back as misrepresented as a religious thing instead of like an actual extraterrestrial thing. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't have those answers, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, is there like when they wrote it down back then, like that's what they were seeing. But they maybe they didn't understand it, and that's like why they wrote it down that way. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like we call it alien. Like an alien is maybe like a newer term than like demon is old. Like that's ancient term demon. So yeah, like I said, like alien demon, it could be the same thing, just a different like from a different perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I said, until you put them in the zoo next to each other, we're gonna be speculating here. It's fun to think about, though. Fun to talk about, isn't it?
Speculation.
Yeah.
Just speculation things. But yeah, like I said, put a picture of an alien, Go Green Men, and then put a picture of a demon next to each other. You can see the similarities.
Yeah, right on.
But yeah, this the interdimensional thing is I think it might be like the key to figuring all this stuff out, instead of it being like a little green men from. Unless they have like warp, a way to get here from so far away, like billions of light years. You think about where the next planet could be that has life, or like alien life, so far away. It's like hard to fathom like traveling here.
Yeah.
So then maybe that interdimensional thing is the key to all this.
Exactly. Yeah. And which would mean, if we're talking about moving through dimensions, then that kind of opens up everything. It opens up that the concept of maybe demons, or the ultra terrestrials that have been here for a very long time, that have been maybe watching over the earth. Like there's a ton of stuff that suddenly becomes possible if you consider the fact that you go through a short portal and bam, you're in like another and completely other reality. So yeah, I mean, here we are talking about it. Got late at night. Sorry, go ahead.
There's another guy. Sorry, real quick. There's another guy. A guy named Nikola Tesla. He also said that he was like communicating with like interdimensional or like a higher dimensional being. So there's that too. We could look at his stories.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, this conversation kind of continues and just goes on and on and on, because you could cite all kinds of things like this. So it is good. It is good. I appreciate you calling, man. We got to take a break here in just a little bit. But anything else while we got you on the phone? How about this? I'm going to ask you this: do you believe aliens are real?
Hey, man, that's what this show's about. Yeah, I've seen some stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, aliens, demons, gods, whatever you want to call them, higher, deities, interdimensional beings, all that. It's all there. Yeah, I mean, the interdimensional thing maybe to me is kind of more. Maybe that's more what like I said, we got to look into that more. Than, like I said, trying to fathom an alien coming from another planet. I mean, that could be too. I don't know. But yes, I do believe in stuff like that out there.
Okay, so it does exist. Okay, just checking. Just want to make sure. I kind of had a hunch, but just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
All right,
thanks, Mike.
I appreciate the call. That's Matt from Oregon. Become a fantastic contributor of the show recently. I appreciate that. Appreciate the call so much, my friend. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about demons as aliens, or vice versa, and that the Pentagon has actually stalled in an investigation into UFOs, which would be unidentified flying objects, and the new term UAP, which would be unidentified aerial phenomena. And apparently they've stalled the investigation into these things because some higher-ups in the Pentagon somehow believe that these UFOs, UAP, are demons of some sort. And if we investigate them, we're giving them what they want. And as a result of that, we're inviting them further into our reality, and it's not going to end up well for everybody. So interesting that, we actually have a source kind of describing this now that came from the government, right? Lou Elizondo has said this. Nick Pope is saying this. Different governments, of course, the United States and the United Kingdom, but, two different folks. But they're kind of saying the same thing, and that these investigations have been blocked because they have people in these government positions that are stopping these investigations. Curious, and like I said, worth thinking about, worth talking about. But in the end, this is not the answer show. This is the question show, and I want to know what you believe. We got a phone call on deck. Thanks for hanging in there. Beechwood, we'll get to you right after the break. But we are still taking your phone calls. We've got another segment on Fringe if you guys want to be part of the show. Do you believe aliens are demons? Do you believe there's a correlation or connection or something here, and that the Pentagon may be onto something? Or do you think it's all a bunch of hogwash? We're open to all of that, and we want to know what you think. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Tonight, we are talking about aliens, of course. It's one of the things we talk about on this show. But the Pentagon has recently been described as being reluctant to investigate UFOs because there's apparently a religious faction inside the Pentagon that believes little green men, or these UFOs, the UAP phenomena, are actually demons, and that to give them attention would cause major problems. We're looking to hear from you tonight. Do you believe aliens, UFOs could be demons? And do you think that we're playing with fire if we investigate them, like some of these folks have been accused of in the Pentagon? You want to be part of the show? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show, and we'll talk about this stuff. Of course, this stuff being all the stuff we've been talking about. Aliens, demons, what does it mean to you? Thanks for waiting so long, Beechwood. Welcome to the show. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing wonderful. Had a busy day. Man, I'm a painter. One of the other shows we were talking about human error. And today, the kid I work with somehow ran over a full gallon of oil paint with the van, with the tire, and I'd never seen anything like it. It exploded, and it was a disaster.
Wait,
but,
so wait.
We were at his house.
So wait.
But
Let's bridge that gap for the people that didn't get the last call you made. So we were talking about Mars and bringing soil back from Mars, and should we be concerned that there might be an alien pathogen in there that could escape through human error, possibly? And there you go. That's like bridging the gap. So let's hope that it was just oil paint and not like an alien pathogen in that can. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Had to fill in the gap here because it was more funny with context. But go ahead, sir.
But yeah, I mean, as far as aliens and demons, I believe both. I'm still trying to figure it out. I assume if there's an alien race, they could very well be just as religious, if not more religious than us. And then also they may not even understand religion and the concept of it. As far as creationism, that goes into religion. I mean, I believe into it. It strikes a nerve, but you can't like prove it. The universe is here and it is big and we're trying to explore it. So vice versa, I think that something else would try to be exploring it as well. The possibility that it could be both, I don't know. I find it interesting that human beings have the ability to lie. We have the ability to lie, and it's like an amazing trait, and it's also a bad trait at sometimes. But with the government to use religion, I think they know that people analyze and interpret stuff. In certain areas, even religion, even people that aren't religious, sometimes stay away from bashing it. And they still have like that little percentage of doubt that it could be real. And you see that like, when people are around graveyards and sometimes religious monuments, people, most of the time they act respectful. I mean, some people don't. But that strikes a certain nerve. And the example I'm going to use is like people that are afraid of Ouija board. Like you can't prove it, but when you say it, a lot of times people just won't go near it. So it makes me think it's possibly a way to deter people from asking questions, about what's really going on based on fear. And that's what I think the government's doing. When the Pentagon says something, everybody turns their head and like it's real. It's just the same as somebody else saying something.
What worse?
We have to.
What worse? Because we know the Pentagon's lied a whole bunch of times. It's like going to the most infamous liar ever, and then having them say something and everybody run with it. Yay! This is real because they said so. Wait, what? How can we believe that crap? Come on.
And the people are ready. The people are ready to hit the ground running with it. They love it, and then people also have the ability to. People love to lie to themselves to make themselves feel better. And then in some situations, people are able to convince themselves of, their own lie because they either want to avoid the truth, they're trying to avoid, a situation. Could be a number of reasons why, but that capability is there, and we see that, in everyday life with people. At the end of the day, I don't know, man. I had like dreams and visions of memories of, the aliens taking a guy back home and there was a skeleton with a crucifix buried. And that's why they came here. And it was this whole thing. So really that one leaves me baffled. It gets your mind going. And then that one leads me to like down the Matrix road too. But at the end of the day, none of that's real. It's just a Matrix. And you go in the big circle, of course, which many people do, but I don't know. You get a little piece of the puzzle every time. You hear people's thoughts. But yeah, that's about it.
Right on. I appreciate the call, my friend. Tell your compatriot there not to run over any more paint. It breaks my heart to lose some oil paint like that. You know what I mean?
It was. He's like I felt something funny, so I just raised the gas, and then it sounded like a firecracker. And I turn around, and his neighbor is wicked cool. His neighbor came out and was like apologizing to us. He's like, "Oh man, that's horrible.
I'm sorry you screwed up."
It rained on it. But, all right, man. Nice. Awesome show tonight, and Yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the call. That's Beechwood from Massachusetts, always calling in with great stuff. Thank you so much for the call tonight. All right, we're still taking your phone calls, guys. We got Copper Mustache on deck here, but if you want to be part of the show and hop in behind him, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org, the official website. Phone number's there, and the Discord link is right on top. You can't miss it. Let's go to the Copper Mustache. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
I got to got some bad news. Kind of the demon thing's my fault, I think. Yeah.
All right. What did you do? What did you do, man?
32 years ago, I found that I was possessed.
Okay.
And, well, the good news was I did get it exorcised 2 years ago.
Okay.
And now she's out on her own. The divorce took well.
Okay.
And I think I unleashed the demon onto the world.
I see. I see.
It was a selfish act. I know I shouldn't have done it. But, somebody's got to do this stuff.
Hey, man, this stuff doesn't come from nowhere. Somebody's got to be behind it at some point. So I appreciate you owning up to it. I appreciate it.
It's way too coincidental that, with the last 2 years, the demon things come up, and I got divorced 2 years ago. Hey, I lived with that for 32 years, so I'm telling you, it's my fault. Don't get mad at me, guys. But that's it. Hey, the other thing I called about is the Pentagon, like Beechwood said, those kukulas in the Pentagon. What here? First of all, this has to do with the Nazi bell. If you look at the Nazi bell, it was some kind of super weapon. They don't know if it was time traveling or if it was something very stealth-like and had an amazing way of traveling through time or inner space. And if you look at Nazi bell and the recent pictures that Corbell showed online, they're not far apart. So maybe, and guess who owns the Nazi bell? Who stole the Nazi bell?
Who did?
The United States of America.
Oh,
right?
man.
So guess who would have them? The Pentagon. So the Pentagon kuklers, they're like, hey, we can scare these people off. Hey, we'll do the demon thing. Now, they didn't expect me to come out and take all the blame for them. That I get, but you know what? I'm telling you, it makes a little bit of sense. I mean, they've been doing biographies on this. You can go back to 2018, 2019. They were still talking about it. It's been a long-term project, but if this thing does exist and it does work, it does look a lot like what has recently been seen on photography.
Okay, so you think there's a correlation here? You think that maybe there is something to this?
Well, since the Pentagon owns it and it looks like it, if it looks like a fish and smells like a fish, it probably is a fish.
I think I've heard that before, except not used with a fish, but nice imagery.
I couldn't think of what the original one was. So I put fish in there.
I think it's a duck, but you're okay. You're okay. All right. So, but hold on though.
But I think their big mistake was they're trying to get people who are religious addicts to go, hey, we got to back off. We can't look at these things because it's a demon, right? So they're using all these weird things. But who runs the world nowadays? Millennials. Hey, how many millennials have seen Hare Krishna millennials and cult millennials? They don't exist. They're God. They're not God. They don't care.
I think they don't.
It's got a bomb on them anyway. It's got a bomb on them.
Yeah,
they don't care about themselves. They don't give a shit.
Whoa.
Sorry, stop.
You guys are killing me tonight. Really?
I know.
All right. So
I was so proud of myself.
Okay, but here's first things first. First things first with that. Now look. Yeah. Now we cannot malign an entire generation. There's a lot of brilliant millennials. There's a lot of really smart and productive people. So you know what I'm saying? Let's not do that.
Name me one.
I know all kinds. Like we would spend like an entire rest of the show and tomorrow's show discussing all the amazing young people that I know. There's tons of them. They're out there, man. I get it, but it's just like them calling the rest of everybody else boomers. I think it's in poor taste, and you can't malign an entire generation. You just can't do it. I just want to make sure. Hey, come on, bro. Let's settle down, bro. But all right, so you do believe there's a correlation here?
I'm not. They're beautiful people. They're just millennials.
I'm just saying. All right, so I appreciate the call. So you do believe there's a correlation here. We're talking maybe aliens, maybe demons, but you also think there might be a propaganda aspect to it through the Pentagon, yeah?
No, seriously. If you do some history studies and you look at this thing and you do a little study on it, the bell has always been quite studied, and if it did hold power and it needed to be developed, it could make sense why all of a sudden we're starting to see it. And then think the other thing, where do they keep seeing it? It's in the U.S. or it's around the U.S. There haven't been any pictures like that exact shape from other countries that I've seen or even heard of.
Okay. All right. I can buy that. There's also, it's not the first pyramid sighting in the last 3-4 years anyway. Like there's some other interesting things out there that kind of maybe correlate to that. So maybe you're right. And you're actually kind of talking about what Robert was talking about on Facebook chat there, describing that maybe that, the phenomenon we're seeing is the us from the future coming back on like a history field trip type of thing, right? Like something like that.
Well, exactly right. Because one of the things they claim it to have been was time travel, and then the other one was that it was stealth or had super high speed power of some sort. You combine all those three things together, that answers it, right?
Yeah. Well, assuming all those things are real, yeah, it does. It could be an answer. I'll give you that. Right. Only because.
Right. Well, they definitely. Well, the site of where it was actually documented and shown on the videos. It was actually chained down so it wouldn't move, that kind of thing. And they know it was Hemmel, who was the major guy involved in it. He was a top Nazi scientist. So it's crazy. That may sound crazy, but they were doing a lot of stuff that was very, very advanced. Who knows? Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Maybe.
Exactly.
All I know is I'm sorry for letting my demon out.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're good. It happens, man. It happens to the best of us. I appreciate the call, my friend. Anything else we got you on the phone tonight?
All right. Love you. Have a good night.
Thanks, man. You too. There you go. That's Copper Mustache from YouTube, and you can find him there at The Copper Mustache on YouTube. All right, so now that's the topic tonight, and lots of great calls. I appreciate you guys coming through and giving me your takes on this. And I think, given all the things we've talked about tonight, all that we know about just living as people, are we, like kind of we had the Star Wars show last night. Are we these, are we this crude matter, right? Or, this stuff, the meat suit, or, or are we, is there something more dynamic that lives inside of us? The energy, the soul, the this, the that, the other thing, and there's a huge argument with that. I just don't know. It seems pretty insipid to me to think that we're soulless. We're just like animals that will die and go away, and that's a wrap. I don't know. Maybe it's the dreamer in me. I don't know. I just think that given all the things that we always talk about and think about on this show, is that if we're talking about aliens as demons, I think the difference between the two is decently negligible. It just depends on the specifics. I've actually got a couple articles here. Let me pull these up and just round this out and finish this up so that we have like a more coherent narrative here. Lots of articles actually discussing these possibilities of, the Pentagon now is saying that, there may be UAPs, UFOs are demons. And so, I was looking into, again, on the internet, there's a lot of amazing things, of course, which they're trying to censor the hell out of because, well, that's what they do. But here's a fantastic article real quick regarding exactly 10 evidence. Here we go. 10 evidences of proof aliens are demons in disguise. So I'm linking these into the chat, and I'm going to just buzz through a few of these real quick. And these are some people that think that it's connected very much, and exactly this. So I'm going to put this up on the screen, and we're going to just buzz through a bunch of this to kind of again, like I said, firm this out on why people believe these things. And here we go. So number 1, demons have always treated mankind with cruelty, and that is exactly what some of the alleged aliens do after they abduct humans. Demons are believed to torture people, and aliens also do nothing but torture as they subject the abducted humans to various experimentations. All right, there's 1. 2, demons are believed to prey on human beings, and that is why they are dependent on humans. Similarly, aliens are also dependent on humans as they show up pretty often in the skies of Earth to abduct people, right? And I think, interestingly, with that, you can say like the succubus, like a demon, actually shows up to rob the semen from men as they sleep, so they can create new demons, right? In the same sense, we have, it's said that aliens have their hybridization program as part of the abduction, right, phenomena that Dr. David Jacobs has claimed as some of his hypnotic regressions and this type of thing from people who have been abducted. So I think there's some other interesting parallels there with that. Number 3. If claims are to be believed, alien abductions can be stopped by invoking the name of the Holy Lord. Demons are also believed to be afraid of the name of Jesus Christ. And clearly, I think we've heard that. I think Tom DeLonge has said that, right? Recently, he said something like, if it doesn't really matter what you believe, but as long as you call out to some sort of holy spiritual bastion of good and purity, then these things will kind of run off, and they'll take off and do their thing. So interesting. Number 4, while aliens are believed to be helping humans with science and technology, if a closer look is taken, all the technologies that are allegedly shared by aliens are basically destructive in nature and is against the well-being of mankind. So there we go. That's another one. Again, this is from proofofalien.com, 10 evidences that aliens are demons in disguise. Number 5, as per people who had encounters with aliens, they emit horrible odors, such as the heinous demons that we read about in various texts. Interesting. So I've read that demons have the brimstone smell, sulfur, right? So I haven't read that about aliens in particular. So I don't know. I don't know about that. Number 6, as per the mythical texts, demons could change their appearance and look just like humans. There are many first-hand accounts of various people who claim they had encounters with aliens who looked exactly like humans. And so that's another interesting one, because they have said that about both, of course, demons and aliens, that they're able to appear as they want to appear to you. Number 7, as per the various religious texts, angels used to come down from the skies, which point to the fact that they were nothing but aliens. Satan, the embodiment of the evil and head of demons, is nothing but a fallen angel. Hence, it is obvious that Satan and all the demons that are controlled by him are aliens also. All right, a couple more here. We got time-wise, we're good. All right, so number 8. People, and we're going through a list here of the evidence that demons are aliens, or aliens are demons in disguise. All right, and that's the discussion tonight. Is apparently there was an article that just came out where they're discussing that the Pentagon stopped investigating UFOs, or is trying to block the investigation of such, because they assume that the UFOs are demons, right? And they don't want to continue with whatever the heck is going on with this stuff, and they want to kind of block it and stop it from happening, because they don't want to stoke the ritual and bring the demons through, this type of thing, right? So anyway, just a couple more here. Number 9, from proofofalien.com. Demons would hardly show up in the middle of a crowd or places where there's enough light. Likewise, aliens are also never heard of or seen in crowded places or during the daytime. This points to the fact that aliens are actually demons in disguise. Okay, all right. Number 10, many demons are being described as reptilian hybrids of humans. There are many descriptions of aliens that match the description of the demons, where both are being seen as reptilian hybrids of humans. All right, so there we go. Just to burn through a quick list of why some people do believe that there's a correlation there between the two entities, the demonic and the UAP, the UFO phenomenon, whatever's going on out there. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have answers to these things. Clearly, if I did, it would be the answers show and not the question show, and it would be very short. Right, we'd start and I'd read the answers and then we'd end and that would be a wrap. But it doesn't go like that. It just does not. So as we consider these things and talk about these things, try and expand our mind to the possibilities of the universe. It is a wide world, wide universe after all. I think very much. I don't know. No answers, but I do think it's worth thinking about. It's worth talking about. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it here, right? So you get the idea. In the end, like I said, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Please don't ever take it that way. We're just kind of going through what some of the news cycle says and the things that they try and put through and try and tell us is actually happening in the world around us. And in many cases, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it because it's a bunch of hogwash propaganda. But in some cases, it's compelling. It's worth thinking about. It's worth talking about. So that's what we do. That's what we do on this show. Like I said, I'm sorry that you tuned in looking for answers, or if you tuned in looking for answers and I don't have any. I'm really sorry about that. But, like I said, go listen to some political show because they'll have the answers for you. Of course, they're lying. They're lying to you, but, they'll have some answers. But anyway, as we finish this up, thanks again for hanging out with us. We go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. We stream on D-Live, Facebook, and YouTube. We broadcast live on the Fringe FM. Tell somebody about the show. You want to help us out. Let them know, hey, there's a conversation going on out there that's not the same tired-ass political conversation you get everywhere else. There's some greater things to think about in this universe, and we do our best to kind of cover a lot of that stuff. So, with all that said, thank you again for hanging out with us. If you're listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop, Lighting the Void, coming up next. If you're listening to us on Facebook, YouTube, or D-Live, stay tuned to Troubled Minds for a third hour. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks again for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and this is the show where we get together and talk about all the weird shit. And see, I'll drop the first official okay to say it. We're after hours. We're no longer on the Fringe FM, which means we can be as rowdy and rambunctious as we like. We just can't say the 17th letter of the alphabet, or else we'll get censored. You understand? We can't talk about the jib jab, or we'll get censored. You understand? So there's still some things in this world you can't really give your opinion on because, well, yeah, everybody's listening all the time. But anyway, it's okay. So we're talking about this alien demon thing, the Pentagon. I'm going to put this article back up, and this is the chiefs blocked probes in aliens because they believe they are demons. There you go. Article is up, and we're still talking about this and doing our thing. So here we go. Let's go to. I got a phone call. I think this is Paul from New Hampshire. What's up, buddy? Welcome back to the show. Are you going to drop an official shit now and it's all good? Shit, yeah. How are you, man?
Oh my gosh! Hell yeah! No, hey, sorry about that, man. Like I said, been a long week.
It's cool.
I'm sorry I didn't catch you last night on the Star Wars night. I love Star Wars.
That's good shit. Am I right?
Oh yeah! Hell yeah!
That's good shit. Am I right?
But let's get to this crap. I'm still on your page right now.
All right. Thank you.
Like I said, this is so frustrating what we're going through right now. So frustrating. And now they're going to switch this into it's demons. And, let's talk about what goes on Facebook. And you see the federal, I know you've been part of the groups and whatnot. Well, they're demons. They're demons. Like I said, man, I watched The Exorcist earlier, That was the thing that kind of creeped me out, and I've been a horror fan ever since. Remember that movie? It was with the ball and the thing crunching into the guy's head, Phantasm, Talk about demons and aliens and this nonstop barrage of bullshit that's been shoved up our asses our whole lives. And now the truth is finally coming out. And there's actually evidence to back this up, where we have technological advances that have been given to us by, dare I say, extraterrestrials. Demons did not crash alien craft on our planets, by the way. How does it go here? What is the point? Why are they doing this? And again, I don't want to get political, but you said it earlier, propaganda. What is the hell? Mike, what is going on here? Why are they doing this to us?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. And this is just one news article. And interesting, Neil, I think that this notion is not new. Like I said, this has kind of been going on in the UFO community for quite some time with this whole aliens or demons sort of thing. And that not really as a, like trying to actually make the two compatible or the same thing, but really describing the pushback from the Pentagon. Right. Yeah, exactly. Describing the pushback from the Pentagon.
Well, I think it's more disinformation. That's the thing. They're going to fill our minds with disinformation. It's going to keep people that are on the path of, I don't know. I remember one of your callers tonight talking about, well, I don't know what, but I believe in this and I believe in that. And it's a nonstop barrage of disinformation to keep you confused. And whether it's disinformation, propaganda, the key is why are they trying to keep us confused? And that's to keep the truth from us. And it has nothing to do with demons or ghosts or shadow people or teddy bears walking out of chairs and hotels with little dolls, creepy dolls. Again, I watched Paranormal caught on camera tonight for I watched it on lunch break. I watched it tonight a little bit. I watched that show, and I got to tell you, I puke in the back of my throat because I see all these people up there that don't have a clue on how to debunk something. And when you see this stuff, the first thing to me is, well, there's a way to do this. And then even some of the UFO footage, some of it's very interesting, but 90% of it's all bunk. And then you have a couple of good pieces that come through. And it's disinformation campaign nonstop. And the key is to keep, and I'm going to tell you, I know this, I know you know I know this, the reason they do this is to keep us disinformed, to keep anybody with some kind of question in their head, what is going on, to look at these things and not see them for themselves, and then say, well, maybe this is possible, when in reality, it's black and white, man, it's black and white. Yeah, it's been happening all along. It's all you got to do is look at the pyramids. Puma Punku.
Pumu Punku. We haven't actually talked about that.
Back to religion, man.
Yeah. Okay. So
well, let's go.
Go ahead. Take it there. Take it there, man. We're in the third hour.
I was going to say. No. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. If you look at what's been laid out in front of us. It wasn't the media. It was the aliens that did this. It was the places on Earth, the technology they had back, call it, well, we're told to believe 3,000 years ago, and now it's coming out. If you look at Göbekli Tepe and all these places 10,000 years ago. And so, again, with the pyramids, Puma Punku, and now, I could get into the pyramids in Bolivia. I'm not too sure about that. There's not enough evidence there for me yet to actually believe that. But there's plenty of it all over the world. Easter Island. I mean, it goes on and on and on, that there was advanced technology on this planet. And it wasn't demons out there shipping away with chicken bones and copper chisels. It was advanced technology that we didn't have, and there's no record of it. So, well, how did they cut these stones? And then you come to now, when there's been a nonstop barrage of evidence of extraterrestrials, including real UFO footage, that gets covered up into the disinformation campaign, along with the demons and the ghosts that are on the Travel Channel every day, all day long. Oh, I heard a voice on my phone. There's just, I can look at every one of these videos and say, there's just something not right about this. And call me analytical, but I think that's what you need to be to really think about this subject and get into it to the point where it actually makes sense. And then once you do, it's going to make sense.
Yeah. Funny you bring up the Discovery Channel or whatever, the Travel Channel, and like I can't watch that stuff. It makes me want to punch myself in the face. And not only that, notice like maybe I don't know if you've tried to share any of that stuff on your YouTube channel at all. Don't, by the way, because it's all licensed. So we've actually been like taken down for 3 months on a copyright infringement, because we shared like a little tiny clip of one of those things, like those spooky clips, right? So I think that tells you everything you need to know, is that they're licensed and they don't want to share this information because they want to monetize it. And once it's monetized, then to me that says it's horseshit. You know what I mean? Just meaning that, look, if I had a photograph of a real freaking ghost or a real freaking alien or something, there's no chance in the world I'm going to paywall that. You know what I mean? Because of course, if like you put that up out there and said, hey, look, guys, this is where this came from, you can find it on my website, you would get way more money just on the website hits of people coming to see a real alien than you would paywalling it, trying to keep people off, you know, and make you pay to look at the thing. It ends up like Ringling Brothers, you know? It's like, oh, okay, you want to see the freak in the back? Like, come on in the tent and I'll show you the alien, right? That'll be $10, please. It's like, come on, really? Like, if we're talking ghosts and aliens, you really want the truth, then why are you going to lock everything up and make it so people can't share your shit? It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, it just, so much does not compute with a lot of this stuff. And like you said, I agree with you. 90+% of this is garbage. It's all fake. It's all fake. But you know, all we need is one. You know, all we need is one legitimate case, or several, a few, whatever. That's all we need. That's really all we need. But yeah, don't share that stuff on your channel. You probably won't because you're sick of it too. But and not only that, well, I think that probably sums it up. I could continue, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you've nailed it right there, and I've been there. As a matter of fact, I put something from History Channel on my channel. It was just very simple. And now here's the other, the opposite side of this, Mike, is that according to what you're doing and I'm doing, if you're bound by the laws, we are teachers. We are here spreading information. And we're not bound by copyright laws, by the way. I looked into these things. When I started my channel, I went strictly to becoming an information channel. And when you become an information channel like Fox News or CNN, by the way, you don't see them bashing each other for showing stuff. You see them stealing whatever, and they can take anything they want. CNN can take what they want from Fox. Fox can take what they want from CNN, and that's because we're educational. There is no right for them to do that. To you or I, when we bring this information forward, no matter who took the picture, we are educating people. And if you look up the copyright laws, the laws are strict on that. And that's that. We are educational programming. We are news information programming. We are not here to be, I'm not spreading my name. You know what? I would be happy if nobody knew who I was. Unfortunately, people do, just like you. I mean, I'm pretty sure your name might be a little different than what you've put up. Strange, maybe your last name really is strange. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not laughing here, brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's just look at the reality of this. And when we get into these things, that we are tagged, because you and I bring the real information. And then when you see something that you say, wait a minute, this is very interesting, let's talk about it. And then they tag you because, again, they use this for purposes to bring the disinformation campaign. They want something interesting enough to say, well, look at this. Now I can show you a bunch of crap and cover it up. And, and it's a nonstop barrage of crap. That's all they do is crap with a little good stuff in there. And then somebody sees that good stuff. You look at what happened this weekend on one of those channels, and it just doesn't end. And now you have, I don't know what's going on with the demons and whatnot, but like I said, it's so frustrating because they just are constant. Here you go again, too. They have people on the internet that it's obvious to me these people can't be this stupid. They can't be this stupid. There are fake profiles on Instagram and YouTube and this and that, and these people just show up just to say, I believe in, it's a demon. Are aliens, demons, Pentagon, UFO. It's just to twist your head in the, oh, well, there's something else going on. Well, what about the problems on the border right now? What about the fact that taxes are getting raised and it's never going to affect us, which is a big fat lie.
Don't get me started on taxes.
All those taxes get raised.
Don't get me started.
Down and hit us the bad.
No, all right. Look, no, you're right. You're totally right. Like there's a yeah. Well, I mean, here we are. We're doing it anyway. I think it's important to. Yeah, we're doing it anyway. I think it's important to kind of make people understand that there's a world outside the constraints of the world they want us to believe, and that's really what the crux of this show is, right? And so and it's
is it that hard to figure out, man?
I don't think it is
that hard to figure out, my friend.
But hold on,
I know you get it. You roll with it. You're good at it too. I wish I could do it easily as you could, because let me tell you, I'm frustrated right now, and it's not easy.
It's not. Well, I get frustrated. I get down. I get, whatever. I'm human too. It's just it's belief in a project. Like you got to force yourself. You got to go. You got to do it. I won't lie. There's sometimes 7 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, fuck, I'm just not in the mood for this. For whatever reason, you're drained and whatever. Like you're like, I just feel like I'm talking about the same shit all the time. But it's not the case. It's just it's like a mental block or what, like writer's block or something. It's just part of being human. It's okay. We got a call behind you, so we got to roll. But you were the best, my friend. I see.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Everybody follow Paul. This is Paul from New Hampshire UFO Hunter. Follow him on YouTube. Thanks again for the call, man, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, love you, brother. Thank you again, man. Be safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, bro. You too. Talk to you soon. There we go. All right, so we have, let's see, we got a couple here. We've got phone calls. We've got, let's see. So I see you there, Kelly. I'm going to keep you on for a second, and I'm going to go to Robert, because Robert usually keeps it short, and then we'll go to Kelly after that. What's up, Robert? You are on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Just hanging out, talking about weird shit like we always do. Man. What's on your mind tonight?
I was sitting here listening to the show, and it occurred to me something that I've thought about from time to time, and I never really see it in the UFO literature. If these things have been around and they have been around for thousands of years, all right, these vehicles are manufactured. They may have exotic components, materials, but they have to be manufactured somewhere, all right? And if they did that, why did they build or have built everything out of stone back in, thousands of years ago if they had the capacity to manufacture?
All right, I've got an answer for you. I'm not sure you're going to like it, but okay, so
I'll take it.
Okay, so Giorgio Tsoukalos, the guy from Ancient Aliens, the guy with the big hair, he suggests, as all good ancient astronaut theorists suggest, that they did have the capacity to manufacture with metal and all the rest of the exotic materials you would expect of an alien civilization. However, knowing that it would be a dead giveaway, they collected those materials and took them with them when they left, wherever it is they went. So there you go. There's the ancient astronaut theory answer to that. So I don't know if you've ever heard that before, and I can't vouch for its authenticity, to be perfectly honest.
Would that be the same case as, I forget where it's at, that cave they found that's thousands of years old? It's a nuclear reactor. Yeah,
well, maybe. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Where is that? If you elaborate,
you don't know about that?
No, if you elaborate, I'll look into it.
I think you've discussed it before. Some while back, somebody brought it up. Yeah, I can't remember where, but I'm sure your audience does. Somebody in your audience does. But they discovered a cave somewhere I can't remember where, but it turns out that it was, it had all the makings of a nuclear reactor. And it's ancient.
Okay. Yeah. No. I remember like the. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I just remember like a supposed nuclear something on Mars. I don't remember. I can't think of anything.
This is on Earth.
This is on Earth. Okay, yeah.
This is on Earth here.
Again, this is the thing, too. So, like, so much goes through my head. I used to have a better memory before when I had less things to remember. Now I've got all this stuff to remember, so my memory just getting
While
worse.
we're talking, you can Google ancient nuclear reactor, and you'll probably find all kinds of articles about it. But in any event,
okay.
My theory is the reason that they didn't have manufacturing, is that these were time machines. All right? And these are field trips, all right. And it's different grades that make the trip. They're studying history, they're studying archaeology. They may be studying dissection like we used to do in lab, all right. So that's why they send the kids out to cut up the cows and bring some back and take it back to the lab. It just makes all kinds of sense. And it also explains why they would not want to, let us know they're there. Because, it's all the way back to Star Trek. You don't want to interfere with the timeline. You could accidentally do something and it changes everything. So they have to keep their distance. But all they're doing is they're schooling.
That makes sense to me.
They're doing field. If when you were in school, in grade school, maybe in the 6th grade, whatever, you always had a field trip. You went to, let's say you got on a bus and you went up to Pittsburgh and you went to the museum and you saw the dinosaurs. Well, if it's hundreds of years in the future, they don't get on a bus.
They get on a UFO.
They just get into a time machine and come back and see it. Right now, what we're doing is we're starting to get into studying history virtually. That's coming. That's already there. All right. You put it on the goggles or whatever, and you're seeing ancient Egypt, and it's like you're there. Well, hundreds of years from now, you don't need the virtual. You'll just get in a time machine, come back, and study it firsthand.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I actually believe that's what they are.
Okay, and not only that, it's as good a theory as I've heard, because you would expect it, right? Like you're completely right. We're going to be visiting the dinosaurs in VR soon, and then what's the next best thing to be able to just actually go back and see the damn things? So I'm with you.
And of course, they would look different. And the idea that they're not among us, all right, they are. They're walking around. They're not going to come all the way from thousands of years from now or hundreds of years from now and come down and always just float in the air or in the water, examine things. They're going to land and they're going to incognito walk among the population, study. Yeah, remember a Star Trek episode with Nimoy and Shatner? I think they wound up in 1930 Chicago.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And, of course, they did their best to try to disguise themselves, but Spock was having problems with his 20 years.
With those damn ears.
Yeah,
I remember.
I just think that's what that makes as much sense to me as anything else.
Yeah, assuming all the rest of the woo-woo stuff we talk about. I'm with you. Like I said, I think that it does make a ton of sense, and I think at some point in the future here, we'll probably have to do a show on exactly that the plausibility that we have the UFOs we see in the sky are just us from the future. Like I said, there's people that have written books about this, so we can explore that a little bit.
Yeah, but all we have to do is think, will we eventually be able to travel back and forth in time? And, of course, the answer is yes. It may be 50 years from now. It may be hundreds of years from now, but eventually we'll get there. So if we get there, what will we do with that? We would travel back in time, and we would try our best not to intrude on what's going on back there. You don't want to change the timeline, but that's how we would study. That's how archaeologists would go to study. Future archaeologists, future historians, they would go back and they would check it out, and get the real facts firsthand.
Yeah, and not only that,
Instead of somebody's All right. Excuse me. I have a smoker's cough.
You're good, man. You're good. So not only that, funny enough, we always talk about propaganda and how history, right? Like as we rewrite history, let's say in 1,000 years from now, when they can go back, why would you read Wikipedia when you could just go back and see it for yourself? Because of course they're probably going to lie to you then too.
Absolutely.
Why
would you open an encyclopedia when you got Google?
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense. Great stuff as always, my friend. I started reading your book. I'm impressed. Good stuff. Thank you again for sending me that.
There's some of those things, those stories, and some of the stories there will give you some good ideas for future shows.
Okay, great. Are you open to being on a show? Are you open on being on a show with me to maybe talk about it? Yeah, you.
Sure. Come on, I feel more relaxed about calling now.
Okay, I can tell. You used to just run off instantly, like, oh shit, I'm scared. No need to be scared, bro. You got me.
Well, the reason I was doing that is because I get this. I get this thing in my head that there's a certain amount of time. Other people want to call, so you want to get your points in and get out.
Yeah, that's the radio.
And now I realize that's not the case.
Yeah, no, we run it the way we want to run it. So it's I appreciate you doing the radio thing like they expect. If you call a real radio show, they're like, you got 30 seconds, go. You're like, shit. No problem, man. I appreciate you calling. Thanks for all the great thoughts and chat. And
thank you
for sending me the book. We'll
talk to you later.
Talk to you soon. That's Robert from Facebook. Wrote a book called. Let me get it. Now that I have an actual webcam, I can show you the book. This is the book that he sent me, right there. It's probably messed up. It's Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection, and there it is. There's the book he sent me. So thank you again for sending that. Like I said, I am reading it. It's right here, and we're doing our thing. Let's go. Let's keep on trucking. Let's go to Kelly. Let's do it. Tam, what's up? Tam asked me if I stand up the whole show. Yes, I try to. I try to stand up the whole show. I got this. If you guys spend a lot of time on a desk, like sitting, oh my God, I recommend getting a standing desk. It's amazing. Like my back used to just kill me constantly. Now I'm like standing most of the, like 90% of the day. I don't even sit down. It's incredible. I recommend it. Make the investment. What's up, Kelly? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. Thank you for waiting. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic, my friend. How are you?
Not bad.
What do you think about all this crazy stuff? Are the UFOs demons? What the hell's going on with this?
Well, first off, I want to start out and just remind the listeners out there of a couple shows we did. You guys did, and we kind of had a conversation about this when they were talking about, the government doing there's always these, you hear these, I wouldn't say theories, but most people call them that, but you hear this back talk about people, about the government want to try to do a fake UFO invasion.
Yeah.
But like we talked about before, yeah, when we were talking about before, though, it was I talked about there was that thing that they made, the sky projector, right? There was the what they call it, the Operation
Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, Bluebeam. Okay, so you had Bluebeam, but the original Bluebeam, when they were trying to remember that they were trying to do. Because most people are, most of Iran is off of religion, right? So they were trying to do a second coming of Christ or some kind of a religious thing on there. So if the government is out there talking about, UFOs or demons and whatnot, then I would kind of pay attention to that because obviously they're going to try to bring something, a sky projector or something that looks, like that because they were talking about that years ago anyway because that's the fear of something like that a second coming of Christ or whatnot or something into that effect into the religion part. But to get back to the other part is demons and aliens. I say they're one of the same because if we're talking back in history, right? That's where I like to, that's where I like to delve at. But if we talk about history and we talk about what they've seen, and everybody, what are they going to explain about it, right? They don't know what they're seeing. They don't see that. They have never seen that technology. They have never seen anything like that, or the creatures that are operating these things. So yeah, they could be demons. That's something else. What else would they call them? Something that's that they have never seen before. They're going to use a term like that, a demon or something.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like I said, it kind of just depends on what you want to call it, your worldview, and like literally, if we're opening a portal to another dimension, and something steps through that portal, what would you call that thing? I'm not sure it's an alien. That's kind of the wrong word, right? It's kind of the wrong word. So, I think we're. Go ahead. Sorry. You're cutting off, man. You're cutting off. You're here. I hear you.
Oh. Okay. Well, no, I was going to say that it was kind of, for me, that's what I'm talking about. It's almost one same, right? So, like, if you do open a portal, right, and something walks through, is it a demon or is it a third dimensional? See, this is a thing. People don't understand. Like, okay, you have something that's an alien, right? They come from our dimension. Right, a third dimension, and they're a time traveler. Because if you're going through space, right, and that, that was like the last caller, and I've always talked about this too before. So if you're if you're traveling through space, right, like these people are, and they're traveling through space, and what you're doing, and you're jumping through jump gates, right, like a portal or whatnot. You're bending time and space. So to call them a time traveler or somebody that's from the future or whatnot, of course anything that you're going to do something like that, unless you can get I don't know if you can even get the time down, you know what I mean, because time is just a conception. It's not really the reason why everything exists is because time, and it slows it down, which creates that's like a scientific thought. That is the reason time is really not even a thing. It's something that we've created to have existence, just like sometimes or like science is saying that if you're not really looking at something, it's actually phasing in and out of third dimension, right? But if you look at it, people, as soon as you lay your eyes on it, because they have tests on that. Some of these tests that they've had where, you could shoot like a beam, these particle beam there, they were shooting through this machine. But they were saying that the machine, the beam itself was like actually phasing in and out. But as soon as you lay your eyes, like if someone was to look at it, it'd be the beam that itself, So, and just like yesterday, we were talking, everything is a vibrational, right? Everything's vibrational frequencies and stuff like that. So, to have a demon, of course, something that looks, I don't know, probably to the human eye would be like a grotesque or a weird-looking creature, like like you were talking earlier, like a reptilian race or something in that effect, right? Something that looks like I don't know, people would call a devil, or some people even say there is some I don't know if they would be a third dimensional or fourth dimensional being, or even a third dimensional being, or like a time traveler or space traveler, like we're talking about, something like a reptilian per se, or a gray or something. They were going to say that those are demons. But I like to get into real quick with just the into ancient texts or even religions that talk about demons. Like that one guy earlier, he was talking about the keys, like the Solomon and Aleister Crowley. Because Aleister Crowley said he had drew the being he was talking to, and it kind of looked like an alien gray. So that's why some people, that's another thing why I say there's kind of one of the same. And to the fact of getting into King Solomon is obviously biblical. People don't know that, but he was actually given. The thing with him is he was actually given what they call a ring, which was a seal, right? And he gave it from, the story goes that he got it from the Archangel Michael, and he could control demons. And by demons, or like jinn, because back then it was like Arabic, ancient Arabic and stuff like that. But Yeah, they were art. You call them demons, or back then they call them jinn.
Jinn,
but
yeah.
They could with that ring. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, jinn. I was just yes, that's what somebody in the chat said earlier. Jinn. You are correct. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so that ring, right? He was given to from Archangel Michael, and then that ring was actually, it's a symbolization, right? But what it is, it's a seal. Okay, it's just like a the seal is actually it's a signet ring, is what it's called. It's attributed to King Solomon, in the Arabic tradition, and from it actually from there it developed, like most people say, from King Solomon. That's where that's Islamic and Jewish and even the Western occultism, like some of the Christianity stuff all came from King Solomon. But the seal is if you look at it, what it looks like, it's a circle, and inside there it looks like the Star of David. It's a predecessor of Star of David. That's what it looks like. And with that, they could. That's what the Jews use now as like the Star of David and stuff. The symbol for that, right? But it's pretty interesting when they say that they can control, because that's what you were talking about, the demons he could control to make his first temple, right? The temple of Solomon, right?
Right.
But what's even more interesting is that there's also some stuff that's non-biblical canons, right? These canons that were actually made into, I don't know if anybody's heard that, and that's listening, or maybe even yourself, but there's these canons that weren't they're they're Christian, they're ancient Christian texts, but they're non-canonical scriptures that they wouldn't allow inside there. They're actually being held at the Ziplik University Library over in the Vatican City, right? And in these copies, they talk about these wizard battles. So if we're talking demons, we're also talking like magic or spells and stuff like that. But in these old scriptures, right? These old they talk about these wizard battles, or like 300 bizarre stories of like trapping demons. For example, there was one that for the trapping demons. There's the apostle Peter. He trapped 7 demons, and because he says that when he was in the city of Ashdod, the demons were posing as angels. So what he did is he did magic. And what he did is he drew a circle around him, and then 6 of these demons appeared to him as they are, like a demon or whatever they're supposed to look like, the description of them, and they were their things was like deception, sexual immortality, falsehood, adultery, and slander, and of avarice, But these demons, they challenged Peter, and I was asked, like, okay, what right does he have to, to challenge the demons, or what they're doing, of their what they're control of, and why doesn't God forgive demon sins, So it's a pretty interesting, thing of us. Scripture that they found, and the only surviving copy of this text is in hold on, let me get this right. Bibliotheca Angelica Library in Rome. There's only one copy that survived, and it's in Rome. So, that's the same thing that we've always talked about. Like, these are the type of stuff that I'd like to find out what's underneath the Vatican, because they don't only talk about, wizards fighting. And in that Bible, in that canon, the wizards were fighting. They had a battle. They were having a battle with a different army or something like that. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy read too. But it's interesting because, like, even the Bible, some people don't know that they also talk about wizards or a witch that's in there, and spells and stuff. And it's the same thing that, like, we talked about before, was the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. They talked about the same thing, that these creatures, if they were trapped in the human body or in like the flesh, they're from a different vibration. They're serpent-headed. So again, you get statues too. Like to ancient Sumerian, there were these things. They look like demons. They call them I can't remember the name, but see, hold on. Nomi and the Nomi. I think, hold on, Nomi. They're like Nomi dolls, and them too. They look like almost like a reptilian face or a body. They got like claws and stuff. You know, a lot. Again, you know, a lot of these ancient civilizations talk about these things. You know, what are they? They third or are they what they call demons? You know, or is like a demon from a third dimensional, fourth dimensional being, or what? You know, so yeah, it's a pretty interesting story you got going tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think these aren't my stories, really. I just collect them. Go find some that sounds interesting. Thank you, but clearly this is not my stuff. But it's okay. I mean, it does spawn a good conversation about these things, and I mean, yeah, like to me, literally, we're talking about entities that really have no definition. You know, we try and define them as humans, but I just think that it's in some cases people say it's a reptilian. You know, well, it's a reptilian alien. Right, and some people say, "Well, no, that's a demon from the sixth plane of hell." You know what I mean. So it's like, it depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask. It depends on belief systems and all the rest of that. And as you said, interestingly, so as I was looking through the information tonight, kind of getting into demons and aliens and like some discussion on some of these different web pages. As always, I'll link all the information that I went through before I start the show. But some of them actually were talking about going all the way back to the Anunnaki and discussing that the whole concept came from back then, and so it was talking about the the Igigi and all the rest of this, and I was like, oh shit, like this goes deep. Like I can't do the whole gamut of this on the show tonight because it's just too much to talk about, right? That you have to literally start from the beginning and spend 2 hours telling the whole damn story directly without getting interrupted. It's like there's so much there. But I'll put those up and I'll link them in a second in the chat. But there were some people like describing on these different websites exactly all the way back to that, back to the very first written language, and then beyond that. So it kind of led back there. Interestingly, as Todd always says, and as you've suggested often, is that a lot of this stuff really does trace back to the same origination story, right? And oddly enough, doing the research for the show today, it kind of led me back to that same spot, like you say, written in stone.
Yeah, see, and that's where I didn't want to go too far back then, but back there. But as you're saying, like I'll give an example for like the Sumerian writing, and some people say that Zachariah Stinson, blah blah blah. I hear all the stories, but these are other people that are trying to so-called trying to debunk him. But if you have other people that are learning that language, right? The ancient languages, like he is spot on. There's nothing that he's even saying that's off, right? And it's just saying that their interpretations, because he corrects them, he was correcting them because he also knows ancient Hebrew, right? And the meaning of like a certain word, right, where they were using. He gives examples in some of the interviews that he has, right? And if you think about it, and other biblical scholars will agree with him, and that's the thing about it. But anyway, to get to that point, yeah. The whole Igigi thing, right? Now that's the hardest one for me to get my head around, because the Sumerians, right? They talk about like their gods, the Anunnakis and stuff like that. But within the Anunnaki culture, there was these Igigi, and they were the first ones to do all the digging and stuff. But it seems like they were like, I don't know if it's a second class or lower class or working class, but they talk about them, and these were like the fallen angels, and let's put it that way in the biblical text. Like they even gave a number, 200 of them, right? But in the Sumerian writing, they talk about these Igigi that came down from Mars, right? Because almost all the Igigi were on Mars, and they were doing all the hard work. But they wanted to come down to visit Earth sometimes because like a break from what they were doing. And when they were here, that's when they noticed the human female. And when they came here, Marduk, their leader, right, and because Marduk is mentioned in the Bible as well, but Marduk was the son of Enki, and Marduk had he was marrying a human female, which was actually against their rules and regulations, but he was doing it anyway. And the Igigi came from Mars, right? So-called fallen, like coming from the sky or whatnot, right? And it was 200 gigi. And there, they took, when they got here, they, again, they did some, that's what they say, they did evil or whatnot, and they started breeding with the human females. And then they created, the children of, that's what they, the children of gods or whatever, and they said that they did evil deeds, but yet they're the ones who taught humans. In the stories, if you look at the old stories, right, they're the ones who actually taught the fallen angels, so-called, they're the ones who actually taught humans, metallurgy and stuff like that, kind of help us progress, instead of using rocks and stuff like that, or other types, softer metals and stuff, and that's where you hear the ancient stuff, like in Egypt, and they did alchemy, the ancient ways of alchemy, because if you really think about it, most of the stuff that, like to get hardened steel, right, you have to combine different minerals. And you got to add it while you're heating up the metals and smashing it together. But you got to find this stuff. Some of the stuff like copper you can find in a solid state, but like stainless steel and stuff like that, you got to add stuff. You got to do shit to it to make it hardened. You got to even know how to do that. That stuff was a secret. Even in Japan when they were making swords and stuff, all the people that were working with metal and shit, that was actually a secret. It was a secret society as well, to make swords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't just knowledge that people just go out there and wanted to do it,
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting to me too, is that type knowledge,
Agreed. Yeah, and it goes back because, of course, right? Like given everything that in an economic basis is knowledge is that power, right? It's like once you know how to make the money, you're not going to tell everybody how to make the money. And what was that called? That steel? It was called. There was a term for that. Like there was like a very particular way to smelt it back in the day. And it was the strongest. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right with a lot of this. Is that it's basically alchemy, right? But it's science. But it's basically like an alchemical tradition of secrets. And it goes all the way back, man. It goes literally as long as people were able to do any of these things. You can trace this all the way back, I'm sure. And of course the archaeologists, anthropologists are going to be very hesitant about making those claims. But I mean, we know 0.1% of all the things, of history. So come on, let's be real now, right? I mean, come on.
It's true though. All these stories go back. Even science will even agree that it's weird. It's like everything from science and basic stuff like that, or even ancient stuff. And these people are not even supposed to. And just real quick with the one caller was asking before me, with all the technology. And what's weird, okay, in the Lost Book of Enki, one of the writings from Zachariah Stinson in one of his books. That's where I get a lot of this stuff. But there's a I can't remember. I think it's tablet 10 or 11, and in there he talks about that they did make a city. It was a city of metal, is what they called it. So it's pretty interesting. That's the only thing that that most cities that they talk about, the city of Ur or the city that Gilgamesh ruled over. They found all these ancient cities. But the only one they have never seen or even talked about like any other place was in the Anunnaki story when they were talking about they have a city of metal. And sometimes I wonder if maybe that could be buried under all the ice down in Antarctica. Something that where there was only like certain sections, they sectioned out the planet Earth where, some families ran this part of the, like the Middle Eastern area, and his sister Enigma, she ruled over like the Hindus Valley, and then the Marduk was like South America, or not South America, but like I would say like upper Europe area, and his brother was all the whole families were all over the place, but there was only one section that they claimed that only the Anunnaki could go to. And there was only one land mass, right? And what is it? The only one we can never really get to is, Antarctica. And yes, they said that they have technology, but if you look at some of the out of what they call out of place technology or archaeology, and you see like stuff that's if it's like that, I give an example. Like you see where it was a wheel handle or something for something, and they found it in a cave of coal. And if it was in coal, it had been at least millions of years old, you know. So, or like the big tooth sprocket that was made of actually almost pure aluminum. And aluminum just doesn't form like that. It's a white powder, and you got to, produce that aluminum. You know, that looks like a sprocket or some shit, you know. Or like that time where they found that thing in a ship at the bottom of the ocean. It looks like they said it was a machine or a computer system, you know. But it was actually all mechanism. I can't remember. It's actually called a mechanism or something.
Antikythera.
Yeah, you look at that technology, and why did they...
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
Antikythera, yeah, that thing. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and or even like they found like the certain metal that was only claimed to be part at where they smelted it was over on the what was it? It was on the ancient the land where it's supposedly sank or whatever.
Atlantis
with the 3 rings. You know, I'm sorry?
Atlantis.
Yeah, Atlantis. Okay, well, they said, I don't know if anybody ran across that, but they found a shipwreck, and they found like shards of this metal that there was only, and it's only been said, and the only place that they ever said they smelt it was in Atlantis. So, you look at these stories and stuff, and then you find this evidence, this weird, supposedly out-of-place stuff. It's like, I mean, come on, man. And the reason why they build it in stone is because stone lasts forever, right? It doesn't last forever, but it lasts more or longer than anything else. You couldn't, you write it on paper, nothing, right? Technologies, after a while, yes, you couldn't have something like that, while they're here. It's like the ancient astronaut theory. They probably took a lot of that shit with them. They can't take everything. That's why you find little bits and pieces of weird shit embedded into rock. Looks like, you've seen the one where it looks like a rock and it's got like 3 sprockets, sticking out of the shit, or like a computer chip stuck in a rock. I mean, stuff like that, you see it. Or even look at the technologies that they're built. These things look like they're molded metal, big, 5 tons, 10 tons, even up to 1,000 tons, and these things are just, the technology, all you have to do is look at it, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, yeah, and like I said, lots of good stuff to kind of follow down those rabbit holes, ancient civilizations and all the rest. I'm with you. Like I'm not so certain of the alien presence there, but I'm pretty sure that there's some ancient civilizations that are not getting credit for being technologically advanced many, many thousands of years ago. So I think for sure that's a thing. But beyond that, I don't know. You'll have to twist my arm to make me believe the rest of it. But I'm open to the idea, man. That's the whole point of doing this, right? Whole point of doing this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean that's why the whole thing, that's why we're here. We're like again spreading this information, sharing the information if people have not yet heard. Some of this stuff, or which is actually pretty good, man. Good show tonight, Mike.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the call, Kelly. You're the best. We'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. So, God bless you and the family. Have a great weekend and all that good stuff, my man.
All right, brother. You too. Have a good one.
Thanks, Kelly. Great call as always, man. Tons of great information, and just like you said, there's a lot of things that you guys say. You call in. Kelly has taught me a ton of stuff. And that's really what we're doing. That's why we get together and talk about these things, because nobody knows it all. Nobody knows it all, right? And Robert with a great theory tonight. We had great calls about Crowley and all kinds of stuff, right? And interestingly, I did have some. I pulled up a little bit of Crowley that I didn't actually realize I did. I had added one quick link before we finished. Before we started tonight, and. It is actually about Aleister Crowley, about aliens, and where the hell did it go? I already linked it anyway. But anyway, like a lot of the stuff, there it is, right there. There it is. News from the perimeter, right? And there's the actual description from Aleister Crowley of the what these things look like, these entities or whatever this thing was. So anyway, like I said, I don't know. Nobody has all the answers to any of this stuff. And so as we get together and learn, like tonight, I learned about that. that ancient from Robert. Actually, I learned about that the ancient. What is it? 2 billion year old nuclear reactor in Africa. I'd never heard of that. And so that's what I mean, right? As I continue to kind of comb through this, you would expect, right, doing 3 years of this, of all kinds of weird shit, I would have heard of it all, right? But no, I'm still learning these things. So here's another one right here. Is there really a 2 billion year old nuclear reactor in Africa? I don't know. I haven't read this. I just did a quick Google and pulled it up, and I shared the article. You guys can see it yourself, but I don't know. I mean, and that's worth looking at. And if that's the case, right, I think then really some of the things that have been said seem to be kind of in line with what a lot of you guys have said when you called. So, like I said, I appreciate it. I learn more every day from you guys, and that's the whole format. That's why we do it this way. So anyway, what's up? Wendy says, I just saw like a string of which I believe are UFOs outside my home. Hey, Wendy, we were just talking about this as we started tonight. Check out. This is Wendy on Facebook. Check out Starlink. Here, I'm gonna actually Google it. I'll put it up on the screen real quick. Check this out. Did it look like this? I'm gonna Google this real fast. All right, so the Starlink satellites actually are like this is what they look like. All right, we're gonna go here. Let's pull this up. There we go. All right. So let's put it on the stream here. This is what a Starlink is supposedly looks like, okay? So people have described these things, and I don't know if this is what you saw, all right? I'm not saying this is what you saw. I'm saying from what you described, it sounds like it. So this is kind of what the Starlink satellite looks like, and people have been calling these in as UFO sightings and things like this. But this is what's going on with this in particular. So they're supposedly going to be around Las Vegas in the next couple days. So I'm going to do my best to go out and actually see them with my own eyes. But they can only be seen at a particular time of day and all the rest of this. So anyway, just an FYI, guys, we were talking about this as we started tonight. This is what supposedly the Starlink satellites look like as they're cruising through the night sky. So just FYI, something to look out for. I haven't seen them myself. I'm going to try and do it, but yeah, there we go. All right, so as we finish up, we got a couple minutes left. NS says Kelly is a great fun caller. Thanks, Kelly. I agree. We rarely have a bad caller, right? Rarely. It's just there's so many good takes here, so much good information, and that people just kind of sharing things. In different worldviews and the whole bit, and that's the point. That's literally the point of this. Like I said, I can always just ramble on and read some articles and play some audio clips, but it just becomes like a bad substitute teacher, like I always say. But it's so much more informative and fun when you guys call in and teach us things, and that's what's up. So at the end of this conversation tonight, like I always say, it doesn't really end. God willing, we have tomorrow, and we're going to continue this conversation. Speaking of which, tomorrow is Friday, which means no troubled minds, but we do have Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. We do have some exciting things coming up. We've got Axel is agreed to DM for us, and we're going to do some role-playing games and probably stream them. So it's not really the same thing you guys are used to, but maybe some of you will be really into it. Ash said he's on board. Jay from New York said he's interested. So we're looking for probably a couple, maybe two to three more players there that have just at least a little bit of role-playing game experience, and we'll get something going here. Which is pretty sweet. And just kind of get together again. An entire community made up of just people we met on Troubled Minds, getting together to play like Dungeons and Dragons or a Star Wars role playing game or something like this. So if you guys are interested and you have some experience, just a little experience. I just don't want like a brand new rookie. So if this goes well and we you guys are interested in this, what we can do is kind of do like a campaign. They go in like say 6 weeks or something. So you play and then it's done. The adventure's done. Maybe when we do the next one up and you've seen how it works, then we'll take some rookies on. But I think for the first run, we don't want anybody with no role-playing experience just because it kind of slows everything down and you got to teach everybody everything on the fly. So anyway, that's coming. We got another thing coming. We're going to do special shows, an extra show per month at least. I'm going to try and squeeze in like 2, maybe every other week, maybe like on a Friday night or something. Maybe start a little bit earlier, but it will be all paywalled. So it will all be an entire private show. So if you guys like the conversations, it's fine. Like, I'm used to talking to myself. So if nobody shows up and it's all good, that's fine. I'm not really tripping. It just is what it is. But if you are and you want to have access to that, it'll be kind of like a private show where we're not streaming on Facebook or YouTube or any of the other things. We're just kind of on Discord, right? There, you see the thing in Discord that says private show. You'll be able to just jump in there. You'll have access and get in there, but you got to join the Patreon. So the whole goal is we're trying to get people off to a private platform here where we can say whatever the hell we want to say and not be censored by corporate and political interest, let's say, right? So hold on. I'm going to link my Patreon. We got a Patreon going on here. And if you haven't subbed up on Twitch, you can sub on Twitch through Amazon Prime. It doesn't cost you any more. So if you've already got Amazon Prime, you could sub up on Twitch, or here's a direct Patreon if you guys are interested in actually contributing to that. So either way, you're in. And like I said, I'm not trying to paywall off and people off and not exclude people. So if you don't want to pay but you want to be part of it, contact me and on the Discord, and we'll work something out. Because like I said, it's not about squeezing every dollar out of this. It's about moving people off of the platforms that try and silence the words we speak, the thoughts we think. That's what this is about. Kind of getting it to a private server and kind of bouncing, kind of going from there. So there you go. So I linked the Patreon if you guys are interested in that. Please do whatever you got to do. Subscribe, do the thing. If you don't want to, like I said, and you want to be part of the secret society, as it were, of course it's not that. I'm just kidding. But if you want to be part of that and you have more time than money, say, and $5 a month is too much, I'm okay with that, and we'll work something else out where you can help the show in another way. So, like I said, I'm not trying to lock people out. I'm trying to make sure that we can get a platform eventually when we get banned on all these other ones, because it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. We're kind of like milquetoast as far as incendiary things to say. So it's not like they're after us immediately, but as they continue to squish down the political speech, eventually they're going to get to us. Eventually they're going to be like, no, come on, these guys, no, and they're going to just cut it off. So anyway, there you go. There it is. That's what's going on, and we're going. What's up? NS says you're a fucking wealth of knowledge, Mike. Don't discount yourself. It bums me up. I'm not discounting anything. I'm just saying, it is what it is. But okay, so there you go. There's if you guys want to, again, if you're at the end of the very bitter end of this show, I'm assuming you like the show. I'm assuming you like the show. So there's the Patreon. That's the official Patreon if you want to do that. And do the thing. I'll announce probably in the next couple weeks, announce the first private show. And the way to work is if you have access to that and you can't make it live, you'll have access to the private podcast as well. So you're not going to be locked out of the archive of that. So anyway, just to let you know, that's what's going on. We got the role-playing stuff coming up. We've got Patreon's brand new if you want to help out the show and subscribe that way. Then we have additional shows per week coming that will be like I said, part of helping us move off of these particular platforms that kind of don't want us to be speaking. So anyway, that's what's up. And again, at the end of the conversation, I don't know the answers. If you're looking for answers, you're in the wrong place. Yes, NS Damascus Steel. That's what I was looking for. That's exactly what was on the tip of my tongue when Kelly was talking about that, Damascus Steel. So yes, very good stuff. Very good stuff. And we're done. I think we're out of here. It is about that time. So I'm going to play some music and let's get the hell out of here. Let's get the hell out. Let's race to the weekend. But like I said, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, we've got Conspiracy News. So we're going to do that. You can catch us on Twitch. And then coming up soon, we'll have an extra show per week, maybe every other week. It's kind of what I'm aiming for. And then maybe Sundays we'll do the role-playing thing. Tons of stuff coming. If you like hanging out with us, you like having these conversations and learning new stuff, that's what it's all about. So it's coming. More's coming. If you dig the show and you want to help support, there's a direct way now. Patreon link is in the thing. You can find it on Discord as well. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, get your ass in there, come say hi to the rest of the folks. And let's finish this up. Let's be done. Let's be done with today and look forward to tomorrow. Thanks for all the calls tonight, guys. Thanks for all the fantastic chat. Thanks for sticking it out to the bitter end. Like I said, if you're still here listening to the outro, you are a Troubled Minds super fan, and I appreciate it a lot. So, yeah. Robert says Patreon has been doing shutdown too for political speech. Well, we'll take it one step at a time. Take it one step at a time. All right. So, thanks, guys. Thanks again. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, Twitch, Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. Have a good night. Do all the things. Be sure, be strong, be true. All of that. And yes. Also, how's the other outro go? Right? When you do this for quite a while, there's kind of scripts you follow, right? So we're gonna say this. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.